position after this. Sovereignty looking to continue on his tour de force on to the Breeders' Cup Classic. More on him after this as we continue on America's Day at the Races.
Bright future indeed. Bright future, the son of Curlin to win by 4. Bright future, Proxy, here's the line. Photo finish, Bright future.
Bright future, look at that. Bright future, the clash prevails.
Bright future, standing at Claiborne Farm.
The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at nairabets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championships with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
The world's premier breeding stock event, the November sale at Fasig-Tipton. A top filly on the West Coast, Tenma won 3 of 4 starts at 2, including a signature win in the Grade 1 Del Mar debutante.
Tenma has won it.
She finished her juvenile season winning the Grade 2 Starlet, besting graded winner Look Forward. This year at 3, she picked up where she left off. She racked up a 6.5 length score in the Grade 3 Las Virgenes for owner Bayoma Corp and trainer Bob Baffert. From there, she captured the Grade 2 Santa Anita Oaks. Tenma is by champion Nyquist from the strong international family of multiple Group 1 winner Misty For Me, the dam of European champion U.S. Navy flag, and multiple Group 1 winner Roly Poly. The family also includes French champion Ballydoyle, European champion Fasliev, classic performers Menifee and Desert Wine, and broodmare of the year Ann Campbell. Grade 1 winner Tenma, selling this November with Hill and Dale at Elapa. The world's premier breeding stock event, the November sale at Fasig-Tipton. A filly who got better with each start, Seismic Beauty won as a juvenile by 5 lengths at Del Mar. Then she kept climbing at 3. She took the Grade 2 Santa Margarita by a dominant 5 lengths, where she bested graded winner Alpha Bella and earned a 104 Beyer speed figure. Seismic Beauty then earned a career best 110 Beyer, going wire to wire in the Grade 1 Clement L. Hirsch, beating Grade 1 winners Copian and Ricci.
Seismic Beauty rumbles home in the Clement L. Hirsch.
The win brought her earnings over $476,000 for trainer Bob Baffert and owners My Racehorse and Peter Lydell. She has never been out of the money in her career to date. Seismic Beauty is by champion Uncle Mo, who is the broodmare sire of Horse of the Year, Torpedo Anna, and Preakness winner Journalism. Grade 1 winner Seismic Beauty, selling this November with Gainesway.
Live coverage continues on this Saturday afternoon. Empire Showcase Day here on Fox Sports 2 on America's Day at the Races. Brought to you where you can play it all at Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. I've been on that ferry. Greg Wolf stepping in for Acacia Clement as we continue along with the action. And I heard you saying as you went to break with Acacia, if you like some of this race, you should probably get your head examined. Probably the case. It's a very, very difficult race to start a mandatory pay pick 5 coming up.
Yeah, it's impossible. I will say this about the 9 Endless Kiss, who's the favorite right now, the first-time starter. The connection is 0 for 28 for horses that debut for a tag. There's just not a lot to lean on here. I get it. You've seen everyone else, and you're tired of their act, so you're going to give this horse, as kind of like that Stranger Danger, a chance, but entirely too overbested for me.
Speed, switching surfaces, at least with a 6. So we'll talk more about that field in a moment. Let's talk Breeders' Cup Classic, the main event on championship weekend, and the main event in the main event. The Kentucky Derby Belmont and Travers winner, Sovereignty. For you, how solid a favorite is he going into this race?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think that if you look at all the classics that I've really paid attention to, and American Pharaoh was a very likely winner, Flightline, I think, was probably the most foregone conclusion. I would put Sovereignty somewhere in between a little bit maybe behind American Pharoah because the group is so tough. But he's probably the third most likely winner I've seen in the last 25 years, just because, for me, his Travers, his Derby, his Belmont are all arguably as good or better than anything else that has ever run in this race. But he did those as a 3-year-old. Now he's got a chance to grow up. Remember what Fierceness and Sierra Leone did when they were allowed to grow up a little bit, right? They were really good 3-year-olds, but when they got to grow up a little bit, now they're out here running 1-2 in the Classic, running big numbers. If Sovereignty takes another step forward, it just feels like they're all running for second. But this is, in my opinion, the best Classic I've ever seen. The accomplishments that these horses, the depth of these horses, first, second, and third in the Classic last year, first, second, and third in the Derby this year. It's a tough group.
So just every horse in the mix here. Great storyline behind them as well. Obviously, we lost one of the 4 for Todd Pletcher. Locke comes out. He's retired, but still got a pretty intimidating threesome in here. Mind frame, though, basically not a race since the Stephen Foster late June. Sovereignty is going to attract a lot of attention. How's he been doing? Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg, we've been privileged to watch this horse develop throughout the year. If you go back to when he was preparing for that road to the Kentucky Derby down in Florida, there were a lot of rumblings of how he is not the best workhorse, but we've seen that change too as he's continued to get faster in his races. He puts any horse that is in company with him to bed down the stretch, as regular exercise rider Neil Pazanski aboard as he has been throughout the year, and just going along easy as can be in the 101 and nearly 2, but looks as though he's firing on all cylinders. And somebody posted a video of him the day he arrived out at Del Mar, and he literally looked flawless to me. This is a horse that is coming into this Breeders' Cup Classic with that upward trajectory, and one would have to think that maybe the best is yet to come. And JK, I agree. You'd have to go back to the late 90s, maybe early 2000s for a Breeders' Cup field as good as this one this year.
It's very good.
Yeah, and the thing is you've had, people are probably freaking out at home. You've had showdowns of 1 or 2 horses that have been pretty darn good, right? You know, and Arrogate, California Chrome comes to mind as like those 2 monsters going against each other. But from top to bottom depth.
A lot of depth, yeah.
I can't think of a better one.
And crazy to think, too, you're going to have a heavy, heavy, heavy favorite with a returning winner of the race coming back who's in top form. And Sierra Leone coming back to the race. Of course, top 3 finishers return is, Fierceness, who ran so huge as well in this spot. And Forever Young, is he going to be forgotten again?
If you like Fierceness like I do, and one of the reasons you love Fierceness as a racehorse is this performance, as fast as he went. Forever Young was up close. If you love Fierceness, you have to have a spot in your heart for Forever Young. And it just, the more I think about it, you have the Classic winner in Sierra Leone and a horse that won the Whitney this year. You've got Forever Young, a Japanese horse who's hit the board in the Derby, won the Saudi Cup.
Ran the best race in the Derby, probably.
You've got Fierceness, a 2-year-old champion, a former Travers winner. And then you go to the 3-year-olds and what they've done this year, a Preakness winner, a Belmont winner, a Derby winner. I mean, it's a sensational group.
Pretty incredible. And for Fierceness, it's good to have him back. Because remember, after that summer at Saratoga, look, we didn't know if he was even going to go on with it towards the end of the year. They ship him out west. He overcomes that adversity at the start of the race, and adversity had been his problem. Hadn't been able to overcome it a whole lot in his career. Really overcame it in the Pacific Classic.
Yeah, and I've been a Fierceness fan since I guaranteed he was going to win the Derby, and he didn't. I've always made excuses for him. I never really allowed what you just said, that he kind of turned away at adversity, to sink in for me. But this summer in the Met Mile and in the Whitney, I kind of got to a point where I'd had enough of the fact that when he gets looked in the eye, it's a little adversity, he turns it away. But then he really threw me in a blender with his performance in the Pacific Classic, because he did have adversity, and he ran one of the best races of his life. I don't know what to do with him. I just know he's supremely talented, and he certainly could beat a horse like Sovereignty, but he's going to have to show up and prove it.
And he's got a couple of occasions now at this track where the Breeders' Cup will be at Del Mar, where he's run big in both. Todd Pletcher, let's hear from him on his former 2-year-old champ.
Beginning with Fierceness, who trained up here in Saratoga last year before the Breeders' Cup as well. He seems to thrive up here.
He does. He seems to do very well here, and he's shipped from here to Del Mar twice and ran well both times. So, yeah, we're kind of looking to stay with the same game plan we had last year.
Looking at how the tactics might play out, it seems that his natural early speed could be a real benefit for him in this year's Classic.
It does. I mean, on paper, you know, a lot of the top horses don't have a lot of early speed, so, you know, that could be to his advantage. He's very tractable and could lead if there was no speed, can follow if there is some other speed. So it's nice to have a horse that's versatile enough to employ the tactics you feel like are best for the race. You know, he's been criticized a little bit for maybe not being as consistent as we'd hope, but I thought that race really showed, you know, a different dimension. You know, had every right to lose right after the start and to kind of recover and rebound and not only win, but win impressively. I thought it was a big race for him.
Let's talk about Mindframe. Unfortunate situation in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. How has he done since that?
Yeah, he's done fine since then. You know, it's very frustrating to be, you know, to have a situation like that happen, and kind of leaves you guessing a little bit as to how much fitness and conditioning you got from that race. You know, our game plan prior to that was to run in the Jockey Club and then train up to the Classic, and we've stuck to that plan even though, you know, it wasn't really a true race.
He seems to have an immense amount of talent. What are your thoughts on distance, maybe increasing that, or a little bit of a question for him?
He's always given us confidence that he'll handle 1.25 miles. I think, you know, for him to run as well as he did in the Belmont in his 3rd lifetime start gives us added confidence for that as well. And the way he's always trained, the way he's finished his works and his gallop outs have been, you know, indicate to us that he should be able to get the 1.25 miles.
The horse that did win that Jockey Club Gold Cup was Antiquarian. No discredit to him. He's been very good in his last couple of starts.
He's steadily improving. We always felt like he was the type of the horse that was going to get better as he got older. Yeah, to his credit, he ran a fantastic race in the Jockey Club. Unfortunately, he was a little bit overlooked by, you know, everything else that went on in the race. But at the same time, he was a convincing winner.
Antiquarian, a little under the radar. He has gotten very good late in his 4-year-old season.
Yeah, see, a year where there was 1 or 2 monsters in the race, I could make a case for Antiquarian being a sneaky long shot. But for Antiquarian to win, Sierra Leone can't show up, Fierceness can't show up, Mindframe maybe can't show up, you know, journalism, Fierceness, sovereignty. It's just too many things I think have to happen. I like Antiquarian. I think he's actually gotten pretty darn good. I think he's a great horse to maybe use underneath if you're playing trifectas or supers. I just don't see a world in which he gets it done against this group.
Let's get back to this 5th here at 6.5 furlongs. This New York bred $30,000 maiden claiming race. So start of a mandatory pay pick 5. Taking a look here at a first-time starter. Not the first-time starter taking all the money. That's the 9. This one for the Kevin Bond barn. Katie Davis will ride. About to get a leg up. And we'll get back to it. Let's start with Gracie Girl to kick off the post parade.
Yeah, Gracie Girl down on the inside. Has a couple of races on the turf. She's going to have to get faster.
Olivia Mavis, Jamie Nesbarn, 0 for 22 next door. Has hit the board in half of those starts.
Yeah, just going the wrong direction. Tried 25 at Parks last time and couldn't get it done.
Next door, a horse at least trying something new, getting on dirt for the first time, dropping class.
Just didn't take an ounce of money first time out, which is a little bit of a concern for me.
There were 2 next out winners. It was a turf sprint in that debut effort. Calling an audible, 0 for 18.
Yeah, 0 for 18. Has had a couple of opportunities at short prices, but this is the one I ended up landing on, but it didn't feel great.
The sprints were, for the most part, against a lot better. Natardi, here's the first-timer we just touched on with Katie Davis.
Yeah, taking a little bit of money. I think a lot of times these first-time starters in these types of spots take money because people just want something new.
This one might just be gone. Turf sprint speed, blinkers on the 6.
Yeah, but just going to have to run as fast on the dirt.
AP Slingshot, Bruce Levine barn now.
Yeah, another one that hasn't taken any money, but the trainer change could be something to lean on.
Observer, Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano.
Yeah, this one is not nearly as exposed, right? Only run 6 times. Maybe Linda's figured this one out.
Endless Kiss, 3-1 favorite. If she was that good, why she's in for State Bred Maiden 30?
Yeah, sometimes you try to get a little bit sneaky and sneak them in here like this for training them off site somewhere else. But, the connection's 0 for 28 with first-time starters in maiden claiming races.
And then first on dirt as well for the 10s. Out there somewhere, it's 40-1.
Yeah, it took no money in her 3 turf sprint attempts. Let's see if she can moving to the dirt.
Get signed up. You can play this mandatory Pay Pick 5 that begins here and get that offer, the $25 free bet you just saw on your screen, and the $200 deposit match new customer bonus with that code CUP25 right there at NyraBets.com. Who looks best of the bunch? Maggie.
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, it is the favorite in here. And as you guys saw Andy Sterling presenting the trophy for that last race and Maid of the Miss, he was lamenting to me prior about how it's just been very chalky so far. And I said, when you're dealing with stakes races, that's often the case, despite that not being true for most of Saratoga until Travers Day. But it does feel like a race like this, a New York bred maiden claimer, you could get some crazy results. But based upon appearances, I don't see that happening. His number 9 in here for Carrie Bryan, Endless Kiss, looks fantastic. She just looks like she's in a different league physically than most of these horses. She's bigger, she's robust, she's athletic looking, which many of these aren't really the athletic looking types. She came in, she was sharp as well, especially when she hit the track with Manny Franco aboard. And you look at the stats for Echo Town, and while it's not the biggest sample, he is hitting at 42% with his first time starting 3-year-olds. And while there isn't much pedigree on the bottom side, and I assume that's why she's showing up here for the 30,000 first time out, she just physically looks best because right to her inside is her main rival in Observer. But Linda's had this filly in this spot several times before, and she has yet to answer the question, running well enough, relatively speaking here, but the layoff and the fact that she was one that never carried much conditioning. That's not something you'll hear me say about Linda's horses. She comes back looking much the same. So while, yeah, she looks fit in here, I just don't think there's much talent in there. As we'll check out a few horses who are trying the dirt for the first time. There's 3 in here. We'll look at 2, starting with number 6. In fact, she's a Zask. That's a mouthful. Predominantly a turf pedigree. Predominantly looks like a turf horse. So while she makes a great impression overall here for Mel Giddings, whose horses are generally really well turned out, she just really looks turf meant overall. I mean, big flat foot to her. Really kind of has that stern look throughout her physical makeup. Adding a short cup cheater blinker today, but I'm a little dubious of her chances here on this surface change. Though I will say that number 10, Deflection Point, who is a massive price up there, and I get it, she hasn't shown much at all. She has a little bit more pedigree for the dirt, at least being by Instagram, as this is the first foal from an unraced dam, and to be fair, the second dam, she was a great stakes winner on the turf. But I've written in my notes throughout her brief campaign so far, career, that she doesn't really look like a turf horse. So, and she finally looks fit to me. I know she's a massive price up there, but there's another horse in here, number 3, Jalamar, who's 7-1 currently, who is a half to Vetriano, who did just finish second in today's Hudson Stakes. I could not find anything I liked about that filly physically, and she's a fraction of the price of number 10 in here, Deflection Point, who really looking at them, from a physical standpoint, Greg, has more positives than the 3.
All right, Maggie, thank you. 5-2 public sticking with the new face. At 5-2, you see that pick 5 pool up and over $75,000.
Well, hearing Maggie's notes on the horse makes me feel better about the horse being 5-2. It also depends what you're trying to do here. If you're playing the pick 5, I'm not going to let the 9 beat me off of what I just heard from Maggie.
Yeah.
Am I going to single the 9 here at 5-2? I think that might be a little bit of a mistake, considering what you like the rest of the way. It's more of what you're trying to accomplish, I think.
Well, let's look at it briefly. So Mohawk's next. I know you're pretty high on George Briggs, right?
Yeah, I like George Briggs quite a bit, but I would like to make sure I also had Sounds Like a Plan.
Mm-hmm. Empire Distaff, do you feel it's wide open, or do you feel like you can get pretty skinny there?
No, I think it's pretty wide open. I don't trust a lot of these horses. I ended up landing on the 5, but man, depending on the other opinions, I'd like to have a little 2, 3, 4 as well.
My main squeeze single for you, or do you think you need Sterling Silver?
Ice cold single with my main squeeze.
And then it closes out Ticonderoga.
Yeah.
Awesome check. Moon Age Daydream. They look tough. You have Speed with spinning colors on the rail.
In a situation like this, I love in picks like this, if I can lock up 2 scenarios, if I can lock up one of the 2 speed horses getting loose, the one spinning colors, and where am I missing the other one at? And the 5 Moon Age Daydream, the 2 forward types, and then take a couple of good closers. I think an awesome check, the 4 and 9 Brock Nardini. Sometimes you can lock those races up. But a lot of times the ticket construction comes down to what horses you're using in certain spots based on your opinions, the reasons you're playing the sequence.
Well, this first-time starter does not run to expectations here. This race becomes incredibly wide open. Sometimes these lower-level races, too, if you can get out early, open up on a field, you can kind of break the hearts of those behind you because they don't have, first of all, a ton of talent. That's why I felt like maybe someone like this 6 could be a little dangerous in here. With her speed.
I think they all can be dangerous because they've all disappointed on a number of occasions. The 9 hasn't yet done that. I will say this about the 9 Endless Kiss. This horse has been training down at Fairhill. There's not a huge clocker community there. There's not a bunch of people watching and talking and a robust backside of information gatherers. It's not a big operation where, everyone's a bunch of owners that know the horse can run, blah, 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 blah. The fact that this horse is still being bet with nothing on paper suggesting that they deserve to be this price, and you get the seal of approval from Maggie, I'm starting to feel like it might be a fool's errand trying to beat this horse with all of these other horses that have constantly and consistently let people down.
Manny Franco rides the first-time starter of the 9 here. The favorite, 9-5, starts a mandatory pay pick 5 on our continuing coverage of Empire Showcase Day here on Fox Sports 2. Let's send it upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call.
Observer going in. Endless Kiss. Deflection point to the outside. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Deflection point with speed towards the outside is up by a half length. Towards the inside, it's tightly bunched as they all are going to be on the front end. Here comes Gracie Girl holding their rail position. In fact, She's a Zask is in there too, and also in between horses Nitardi. Nitardi has now put a half length in front. It's Nitardi who's in front, and right there in second, in fact, She's a Zask. Up on the outside, Deflection point is a close-up third now, calling an audible in between horses, is trying to move on through there with Elavia Mavis. Just behind them, Red Silks' Gracie Girl and Endless Kiss starts to rally around rivals from the back. Observer and the trailer, that's Jalimar. There's one more behind them, that's AP Slingshot at the back end of the field. 22.77 for the opening quarter mile, and towards the outside, in fact, She's a Zask is now a nose in front. Nitardi is coming right back towards the inside. A quick move there from Jamie Rodriguez. Elavia Mavis got down to the rail. Was it the winning move? Elavia Mavis is now challenging at the rail and moving on through with that slick move, but calling an audible is rolling grandstand side. Calling an audible with a lot of momentum now, and here comes calling an audible. Elavia Mavis is trying to battle on a size differential between these two as they're inside the final 16th. Elavia Mavis is now sticking her nose in front, coming right back, calling an audible. It's a photo. Looked like calling an audible to the outside of Elavia Mavis. Then came Nitardi and Observer in 1 minute 18.10 seconds.
19th time the charm for calling an audible, who in most of her sprint, she'd been competitive against a lot better.
It's all about finding your friends when you get to this level. It's so much less, in my opinion, about the individual when you have horses that are 0 for 22 and 0 for 16 and 0 for 8. If they run into a horse that's better than them, they're going to get beaten. Sometimes they're going to find groups where they happen to be good enough to win.
We have an objection, by the way. The third place finisher, the 5, first-time starter against your eventual winner.
Wondering where it's at. If it's there, I believe this will be quick.
So we'll try and get a look at the head-on and see exactly where. I mean, out of the gate, it was pretty minor. I don't believe that's what it was. But we'll take a look here. 4-2-5-8 unofficially.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If it's hard to figure out where it was at, it must not have been that big of a deal. Let's take a look.
Yeah, it's not an inquiry, it's an objection.
Yep.
Observer.
Here's the head-on. Will give us a better answer. And here's the 5 in that blue cap. Second from the rail. And here comes the 4 in the black cap down to meet this one. It must be there, right?
No, I just think he's clear. I think he's clear. I think if you look at it, if you take a mental note of what that felt like looking at the head-on, and when you see the pan again, I think you're going to realize that that they were clear. I just...
Here's the pan view. See if there was clearance. I don't see it.
It just, like I said, there was a, you know, we'll take another look right here. I thought he was clear.
All right, so the riders, they will talk to the stewards. Again, this is not a stewards inquiry. This was Connections who objected to that finish, which does not get overturned near as much, but nevertheless, it will be looked at.
Yeah, and just to clarify that for those that are new, the objection is someone says, hey, look at this. The inquiry is the stewards, the judge is saying, we're going to look at this. Both can happen. Typically, I would imagine, I've never looked at the stats, but the inquiries would have a higher strike rate of changing, I would imagine, than an objection. But nonetheless, taking a look at it.
There's your, for now, winning rider. We'll see if that result stands. Katie Davis was on the 5, the first-time starter, and we're not sure who it was of those Connections who lodged that objection. Being told it was Katie Davis, who was disqualified yesterday out of a victory, warranted. Well, we'll see what happens here. So taking a shot when it did seem like that calling an audible was clear from our vantage point.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they from side to side, horses have and riders have a right to all that ground as long as they're clear of other horses. I don't think it affected the outcome. You know, I'm not going to knock someone for taking a chance, but
and we'll see if this goes on much longer here. Let's take one more look at it. Katie Davis again, 2-path, blue cap, and far on the outside here. Here's your eventual winner. It's going to come down toward the 5 and eventually be 3 wide. And this is
4-2-5-8. Result will stand. No change.
This is it, and have just been announced by Chris Griffin. As we expected, no change.
Feels like the right call.
So 4-2-5-8 result will stand. 19th time out. This 4-year-old filly by Audible finally breaks the maiden Yeah, did not look like there was much there. Stewards agree. 6-1 winner to start off a mandatory pay. Pick 5. We will get into the 6th, the start of the pick 6 next.
History remembers moments of extraordinary strength, skill, and determination. True greatness is forged by those who fulfill their destiny.
Back on our Saturday coverage, Empire Showcase Day. Brief objection. Stewards say no. Calling an audible. Start number 19, Maiden breaking. Win 80, Barker, Luis Rivera Jr.
Yeah, calling an audible. Just found his friends. Or her friends, excuse me. Found her friends in here. And look, she was determined. She had an okay trip. She kind of got shuffled out of there. Ended up kind of following horses around there. But right here, she was game. She came down to the other horse, to her inside, the 2, for a little competition. And for a second, it looked like the 2 might come up the inside and she was going to hang. But she kept leveling off here and got it by a comfortable, I wouldn't say a comfortable head, but a head.
And, you know, it's a little bit different in terms of, like, reputation in the NBA when if you flop or something like that. There's multiple referees in the game. This circuit, there's 3 stewards. You make objections like that, is that going to hurt your reputation going forward? Or
well, I just think that it's human nature that, you know, when you make an objection like that, basically you're publicly disagreeing with them, not making an inquiry, and then you end up on the phone with them saying that you were overly affected, trying to defend your position. I would imagine it's human nature for someone to, like, you know, maybe not take you as serious the next time when maybe, I don't want to go as far as to say it's the little boy that cried wolf, but there's a theory behind that, you know.
No. We got a pick 6 coming up next. Begins on the grass in the Mohawk. Mile 16th, $200,000 purse, 3-year-olds and up. And George Briggs, 3-year-old, tackling older company for the Chad Brown Barn. Owner Peter Brandt. Dylan Davis rides and was in open company in a stakes race off a debut maiden win with a troubled trip.
I assure you, I tried very hard to beat George Briggs in here. I looked and dug and looked and looked. The other horses that were in here just didn't really do it for me. Now, if sounds like a plan goes off at 8-1, which I don't think he will. It's just early money here. He would be interesting, but I think George Briggs just might be too good for this group.
Come back after that race, by the way, we talked about with that trouble against Open Company in A-State. That was all the way back in March. Came back in a race that was taken off the turf, but a big jump forward. Race taken off the grass, and it seems like he is a grass horse, no question. So what can he do back on his preferred surface? We're going to take a timeout. Main event still to come later today, and he's been money in the bank. 700,000 plus in earnings, bank frenzy, multiple stakes winners still to come in the Empire Classic.
Here comes that big gray Tappet Trice right down the outside.
Tappet Trice wins the Toyota Bluegrass.
Tappet Trice's 2024 debut was awesome.
Tappet Trice is lunging. Tappet Trice wins the Woodward.
The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at nairabets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championships with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
Game winner first ran a very, very impressive maiden race at Del Mar. Came back in the Del Mar Futurity.
Gaming, a first crop colt, following in his sire's footsteps, winning the Grade 1 Del Mar Futurity.
And then just continued that unbelievable 2-year-old year, went on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and then was crowned 2-year-old champion. A very exciting combination of pedigree and race record.
Game winner, continuing the legacy of Candy Ride.
Back on our Saturday coverage on America's Day of the Races here on Fox Sports 2. Pick 6 coming up next on Empire Showcase Day. Beginning with a Mohawk, we'll see George Briggs back in action, back on the turf for Chad Brown, 3-year-old taking on older company. Let's talk Breeders' Cup coming up, and the Distaff obviously lost a major star with the reigning horse of the year, Torpedo Anna, announced her retirement. And with that, how big a player does Dorth Vader become in this race, who gave her everything she could handle in the personal ensign?
Well, I think you have to ask yourself, did Dorth Vader beat a declining Torpedo Anna in that personal ensign? I think Dorth Vader on her own right deserves some attention here, but you have to evaluate how good you actually think this performance was, and I was against Torpedo Anna on the day, so Dorth Vader almost beating her didn't do for me what it might have done for others.
5-time winner. She's been first or second, 8 of her 17 starts. And, you know, even though she came up just short and battled her every step of the way, it's probably Torpedo Anna ran a little bit better race that afternoon. But there's no question she will come in sharp form. She's one of the main players for George Weaver. You see those 5 wins on the resume, the most recent Grade 1 Ogden Phipps at Saratoga. Let's hear from her trainer.
Joined by trainer George Weaver, talking about Breeders' Cup horses. George, let's start with who I think is the queen of the barn, it seems, in Dorth Vader, pointing to the Distaff. What have you seen from her after her really valiant effort in the personal ensign?
Well, she's put together a very nice campaign this year, and you know, we purposely skipped any kind of prep. We thought she ran really hard here at Saratoga. We wanted to go into the Breeders' Cup fresh, and I think she's just learning how to run. We took the blinkers off, and you know, Johnny's gotten in a good rhythm with her. I actually thought we won. My vantage point where I was, I thought we nosed her, and then I watched the replay, and I was like, oh, darn. we got nipped, but I still feel like she ran a winning race, and she's done well since then. You know, we spaced her works out, and everything's gone smoothly, and she's shipping on Wednesday. So we're looking forward to seeing if she can put that same effort forth.
He is going to have some very big chances championship weekend, George Weaver.
Yeah, Cy-Fair in the juvenile turf sprint, I like quite a bit. I think she could be dangerous, see what the Euros do. But, yeah, George going to make some noise, hopefully.
As for this field, some others, we got the top 3 finishers coming out of the Spinster at Keeneland. Jin would win that race on the front end for Brennan Walsh, but Nitrogen I thought took a step forward even in defeat.
Yeah, the thing with Nitrogen is we know how tough she is. So that's a plus. I suppose I would call this a minus, where I thought she was going to run by here and she didn't, which I suppose some could say was a little bit disappointing. The horse riding behind her, too. Don't forget Scylla, a horse that I feel like has been the most disappointing 7-furlong horse of all time. How many times I thought she was going to win. Maybe, just maybe, she's going to be better going a little bit further. So you got to like that about those. But to me, this race is about the older horses and the younger horses, right? It's about the Nitrogens, the Scottish Lassies, the Clicquots versus some of the older ones, the Seismic Beauties, the Scyllas, the Jins, the Darth Vaders.
Yeah, you bring up Scottish Lassie. She has 2 just monster performances. One is a 2-year-old in the Frizette, and then, of course, that Coaching Club American Oaks. Do you forgive the Parks effort? Can you find a reason to write that off?
I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't understand the trip she got, so there's that. That can work as an opportunity. Her race in the Coaching Club American Oaks was so good that there's obviously still some side of talent there. The fact that they skipped the Alabama because she wasn't training as well as Jorge Abreu wanted her to makes me think that maybe she wasn't even as good as she could have been for the Cotillion, based on the same reason that she didn't run the Alabama, and maybe the reset button has been fully hit and we can see the real Scottish Lassie. We'll see.
The real one shows up. The rest of that field could be in trouble. Let's get back to race 6, start of the pick 6. And there's George Briggs. Lightly race start, number 4 coming up. Won the debut. Belmont at Aqueduct last year. Was in open company and a stake at Gulfstream to kick off the 3-year-old campaign. 3rd with a troubled trip. And it was a lone leader who went gate to wire in there. And then a race that came off the turf at Saratoga with a big effort to win. Let's go downstairs to Maggie with the 7-5 favorite.
Yeah, that's a pretty short price on this guy, as he is the lighter race and, you know, maybe least exposed or least challenged, whichever way you want to look at it here. But I do think he is definitely a horse that is heading in the right direction. Number 2, George Briggs here, who each race of the 3 so far gets faster. And last time it was on that wet track, which I definitely was a little bit dubious of him handling, but he just gets stronger. He develops. You know, I've always had my question marks about how fit he actually is, and that's probably because he always has lines in his form, but it's like that baby fat has been molded into conditioning, into muscle mass, all the things you want to see. And so now he gets back to what his preferred surface is, one would think. And so that upward trajectory could be seen here yet again. So I definitely like what I'm seeing from your favorite, just not necessarily the price in a field which you have a lot of kind of those venerable veterans of this condition. New York breds going long on the turf, including number 3. It's all coming together, as he was soundly beaten, as was the rest of the field, by eventual Grade 1 winner in Rhetorical. I thought he went hard for the lead from that middle of the lineup post position that he was in, and he was caught 3 wide. It was a pace duel. I mean, the horse he dueled with finished even further back than he did. So it eventually collapsed for him. And today you would have to think that he's going to be pressed by the outside runner, and sounds like a plan. But I'm not giving up hope on this horse yet. Yet again, he looks fantastic. He can control here, and with that more inside post position, maybe he's able to, you know, just get the jump on the rest of the horses here. He looks fantastic in his flesh, Greg. Maybe at a little bit of a price, he can make some noise.
14-1. I've been high on this one for a while, too. We'll see if he can overcome George Briggs, obviously on the outside. for Horacio de Paz. Sounds like a plan, coming in sharp form as well. He's trying to win his third straight, but that's the favorite. George Briggs, 7-5, post parade for the Mohawk when we come back.
$1,600,000, $1,600,000 bid today, $1,600,000 bid now, bid now, $650,000, $1,650,000, $1,650,000. Anybody else want $650,000 bid today, $1,650,000 $1,600,000. Thank you.
Spirit of St. Louis is just gliding into it, now moves towards the outside. Ruse and Jerry the Nipper throw it down. Ruse has got to touch more. Jerry the Nipper is trying to pounce. City Man's going to get the jump on Spirit of St. Louis, who's got to pick it up from there. And here comes Spirit of St. Louis, gaining some momentum slowly, but City Man is trying to hold off the oncoming strides of Spirit of St. Louis, who's going to push on by. Spirit of St. Louis wins the Mohawk.
One of my favorite horses won this race a year ago, and it became a Grade 1 winner. One of the best turf routers in the country.
Yeah, he sure did. He was outstanding, and a really game horse was Spirit of St. Louis, or is Spirit of St. Louis, excuse me. I don't think there's a Spirit of St. Louis in here, but I think it does point out that these New York breds can be competitive outside of these types of races as well. Just so happens that you've got some great opportunities with New York bred in spots like this.
Post parade coming up. You see the pick six. Again, the pool starts here, opening leg of the sequence in this spot. And here's Bee of Courage, who a few starts back faced a pretty good one named Then at Saratoga.
Yeah, this horse ran well inside last time. He could get a very similar trip here today.
Here's the favorite, 6-5, Chad Brown's George Briggs with Dylan Davis.
I just thought his race out at Gulfstream when he was behind me, Bago, was pretty darn good.
13-1, big price on one Maggie is intrigued by. It's all coming together. It has some big races.
Yeah, has some big races and has some tactical speed. Could be able to work out a nice trip from that inside post.
Slap in the Face, three-time winner with Manny Franco aboard.
Yeah, Slap in the Face is one that's going to need some pace to close into.
Amelia Greenbarn, Clear Conscious.
Yeah, another one who's going to need some pace to close into, but it could come from some of the inside horses.
Tom Morley, Jose Lezcano with Outsource.
Yeah, this horse I thought probably wants to go a little bit further.
And major player outside trying to win 3 in a row. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, has some tactical speed, but it's a big question of whether or not this horse is going to be aggressively ridden to try to hold some position or if they'll just stalk from the outside.
Ricardo Santana Jr. will look to add another one on the afternoon. Play this race, the pick 6, late pick 5, all of it still ahead of you. Breeders' Cup and beyond with Now Our Bets. $25 free bet, $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. With that code, Cup25, right there at NowOurBets.com. Let's go back to George Briggs. Here he is warming up under Dylan Davis, who will hop aboard for the first time. And it's a tough read because he came back and he figures, I mean, 76 or 79 Bayard seemed a lot faster thoroughgraph-wise, what I look at. What if he gets that much faster on turf? It's going to be tough for anyone in here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the you could say is you know, the figure he had in March, you know, was pretty good, and then he comes back and runs this well on the dirt, and it's probably not his preferred surface. Maybe he's just gotten better. So now getting back to the grass, that might really be something that can wake George Briggs up.
Horse 2 he beat in here behind him. They both came back to win on his unpreferred surface. So yeah, back to turf, where wins at first asking, troubled trip against Open Company and a stake. There is a lot to like with him, but he is tackling older company, and he is lightly raced.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the lightly raced portion of it. I think the bigger thing is how good is he really, which I think goes hand in hand with your other statement about, you know, facing older. But at this time of the year, a lot of times these 3-year-olds start getting themselves mixed in with some of the older horses, and I just think he's better than these. I think based off of his last 2 performances, even though one of them was on dirt.
Well, this one sounds like a plan. He has all of a sudden gotten really good. His last couple of races, he's really taken a step forward for Horacio de Paz. Ricardo Santana Jr. has been on board for both those wins.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Is a horse who has some tactical speed. He's drawn in a position to be able to take advantage of that from a tactical standpoint, to kind of see what horses to the inside decide to do, what they're going to try to do inside of him. So sounds like a plan. It is one that I think makes a lot of sense from this position here. So we'll see what they decide to do, what Ricardo decides to do from the outside, but he definitely does have a tactical edge in here from being able to work out a pretty nice trip.
But as we hear in football all the time, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
That's what they say.
Let's go to Maggie for more.
Oh, man, that's savage way to think about it, Greg. But, and I'm being a chicken down here. I want to pick It's All Coming Together, but I'm going to chicken out and pick the other speed horse, and that is Sounds Like a Plan, who I just think looks fantastic. And yes, we're dealing with several 3-year-olds, you know, taking on some of these older foes, such as your current favorite, George Briggs. But the fact of the matter is, he's never faced older company, whereas Sounds Like a Plan has. So I'm going to take him, and he looks great out there. He's moving incredibly well. You know, it just feels like the right combination here. Ricardo Santana, who knows him inside out, is back aboard, and it really just feels like he, Horacio de Paz, and Sounds Like a Plan are just hitting on all cylinders. So I'm going to take him over the other 3-year-old, George Briggs here, who's a little bit more of an unknown commodity, and we kind of already know what Sounds Like a Plan is and know that he can be competitive against older company. Guys?
There is that other 3-year-old who's in very sharp form, a lot more experience, 3-time winner on the turf, and Santana back aboard from that outside post. Meanwhile, one of the older veterans in here, here's Slap in the Face, who, with the exception of May 11th of earlier this year, so horse who comes from pretty far out of it.
Yeah, he does come from way out of it, and I worry a little bit about the pace situation here. I mean, it's all coming together. Obviously, has a little bit of speed. We'll see what Sounds Like a Plan decides to do, but the pace of this race is going to have to heat up for a horse like Clear Conscience or a horse like Slap in the Face.
And it comes in off a win where he was able to come from very far out of it. I mean, he was just about last entering the stretch and was able to run everyone down, including Clear Conscience, in that race back on September 13th. But it just does not seem like there's enough pace in here, does it?
It doesn't feel like it. If you look at the two horses that have pace, it's all coming together. Has early speed, drawn inside. You know, you'd like to think that they'll pop away from there, see what's going on, see if anyone wants to go with them, and then just be comfortable on the inside. No reason to go too fast. And I don't see a reason why the 8 Sounds Like a Plan would try to clear them. Why not, if they're not going too quick, why not just sit off of a horse like It's All Coming Together, who you're seemingly better than, and Ricardo can just have a target. It doesn't feel like a race that's going to hook up and cook up too much. Now, when it comes to George Briggs, the 2, he feels tactical enough to stay connected to those 2 horses that are likely going to be towards the front end.
There he is again. Start number 4 coming up. Won his debut. Stakes placed, second start on the grass, and that's been it in terms of turf starts. So back on the turf for just the 3rd time in his career. And 6-5 favorite. As they come onto the turf course. Pick 6 pool. 55,000 and growing. And I felt like you did. My Main Squeeze is going to be awfully tough to beat. Probably one that a lot of people are singling today.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the horse is just better than these, it feels like. Now, obviously, that can, if she doesn't show up and run her A race, then she can get beat. But just like I thought with the Wine Steward earlier, if she runs her A race, she's just better than these horses she's facing.
But, I mean, look, there is concern, right, with her being eased the last time we saw her in the Ballerina.
Yeah, but yes, obviously. Well, there's a couple things. One is the Ballerina is a significantly tougher race. So if she, you know, ran into some faster, stronger horses, that could have been problematic. You would imagine if she's back here now, all systems go. So I'm thinking we're going to see the good My Main Squeeze, but I guess we'll see in a few races.
I know George Briggs has talent, showed it, trouble trip, even money. Is this getting a little ridiculous?
No, I don't love the price from a win standpoint. You know, in a pick 6 or something like that, depending on what the rest of your opinions are, I wouldn't be opposed to someone wanting to kind of hang their hat on this horse in a spot like this, but from a win standpoint, a little too short.
Pick 6 starts here. Empire Showcase Day. The Mohawk kicks off the sequence. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
Sounds like a plan. Last to load. And in. All set for the Mohawk. And they're off. Sounds like a plan broke well from the outside. It's all coming together as in the early mix 2. It's all coming together. It's now a half length in front. Sounds like a plan is engaged towards the outside, and that's the top 2. Slap in the Face is a well-settled 3rd now, and Clear Conscience towards the outside with Bee of Courage at the rail is now in 5th. Then comes George Briggs and the Triller. Outsource. They work towards that turn. It's all coming together. Jose Gomez is going to set the pace. Sounds like a plan. Corner's a little wide here, is right there in 2nd and at the rail. A patiently ridden Slap in the Face for Manny Franco saves all the ground in 3rd. 24.44 for the opening quarter mile. Clear Conscience is a well-settled 4th, starts to move forward here for Kendra Carmouche, and at the rail, no move yet from Bee of Courage, Ruben Silvera, followed by George Briggs, center of the course, and the Trailer is Outsource. They're working up the backstretch here in the Mohawk, and the leader, it's all coming together. 50 seconds flat for the posted half-mile time. It's all coming together, is back up by a full length. Sounds like a plan. Will not let that leader get away. Still stays within range. No excuses for Ricardo Santana Jr. and Sounds Like a Plan. They've been stalking this pacer as they move into the far turn. Slap in the Face is waiting for him towards the inside. Clear Conscience will get the first run. Outsource made up a lot of ground, and Outsource is taken 5th to the outside of George Briggs, who's in between rivals. Bee of Courage, the trailer. They reach the top of the lane. It's all coming together is in front. Sounds Like a Plan is bearing down, but it's all coming together is still there. It's all coming together is holding off the charge of Sounds Like a Plan, and here comes Slap in the Face, who's now in the clear. Slap in the Face is listing, and here comes Slap in the Face to the outside. It's all coming together, trying to come back. Slap in the Face won it. Slap in the Face wins the Mohawk. It's all coming together, was now 2nd. Then came Sounds Like a Plan and a photo with George Briggs in 1 minute 43.33 seconds.
Slap in the Face, able to run down this pace setter. Anthony Dutrow, Manny Franco.
Yeah, I mean, look, the pace wasn't as fast as I thought it would need to be for a horse like Slap in the Face to win, but the top two just didn't go on with it based on the way that the early part of the race was running. Slap in the Face just kept on grinding away. It was a great trip for this horse. He ended up just grinding them down when it all came to the wire.
One more look for a moment. It's all coming together. Nice job, Jose Gomez here. Found more early in the stretch, and when initially this 5 sort of came to, it's all coming together. Dug in for a little bit, but in the end, Slap in the Face too much.
Yeah, he was, and it's almost one of those situations where it feels like the horses that were forward, the 3 and the 8, invited Slap in the Face into the race, right? A lot of times people think, you have a pace edge, go out there, go as slow as you can, and then turn it into a sprint for home. But a lot of times when you turn it into a sprint for home, the horses who have a better closing kick are going to be the ones that can take advantage of that. And I think Slap in the Face probably projected to be a lot further back, but when they turned for home, Manny Franco had a lot less to do than I think he probably thought he was going to have to do, and he was able to run down those 2 pace setters.
4 wins now for this 5-year-old, 6-1. It was between these two most of the race, but here comes Manny Franco on this 5-year-old.
No, and you could just tell visually this horse is traveling so well and finishing better than the other two. And I guess the real disappointing horse for me was Sounds Like a Plan, not finding a way to run by the pace setter. George Briggs a little bit further back probably and closing into a slow pace, but Sounds Like a Plan, I didn't see where his excuse came from.
6-1. Back-to-back races here. 2 legs into a mandatory pay pick 5 and 6-1 to start this pick 6 as well. Slap in the Face. Manny Franco the victory. Anthony Dutrow Barn. We'll have the prices when we come back. That's it for JK. You're gone?
I think I'm out of here.
All right, Andy Serling coming in for Jonathan after a break. There's Manny Franco, winner to kick off this pick 6. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, sooner than later.
Tomorrow?
No, it's my wife's birthday. So.
Okay. Not tomorrow. Wish her a happy birthday from all of us. We'll be back. A lot more coming up on Empire Showcase Day. Right after this, it's Slap in the Face in the Mohawk to kick off the pick 6.
Welcome to the 2025 Keeneland September Yearling Sale, where history was made when 3 Chimneys Gunrunner, the sire of 2025 Grade 1 winners Sierra Leone, Locked, and Brent, became the first horse in the history of the Keeneland September Sale to sire the session topper of each of the first 4 sessions. Among them was the $3.3 million sale topper, purchased by Peter Brent, MV Magner, and Winchell Thoroughbreds. Gunrunner, Breed Shaper, Dream Maker.
Tonight on America's Day of the Races, special team coverage continues on day 2 of the Breeders' Crown, the year-end championship series from Woodbine Mohawk Park. The very best in harness racing continues tonight, 7:30 Eastern on FS2.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Elite Power gets up to win the sprint. Jackie's Warrior. Elite Power on the far outside. Jackie's Warrior settles for 3rd today. At the 16th hole, Godine is 2nd, but Elite Power does it again.
The power of a champion.
Please hold your applause.
The power of Juddmonte.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races. Where's Andy Serling out there? That's why we have this footage. He's mean on a pair of skates. He's going to be joining me here in just a moment. Well, I know you can skate. Slap in the face. Kicks off the pick 6 with a win of the Mohawk here. Anthony Dutrow-Barn, Manny Franco. And the son of Oscar Performance wins for the 4th time in his career. 6-1 to start the pick 6. 5-3, 8-2. Let's go to Maggie.
Here with winning rider Manny Franco. And Manny, you've had a long relationship with this horse, and we were just discussing how good he's gotten towards the tail end of this year.
I mean, he's getting better every race. You know, he's still, you know, running his balls out there, and I'm just happy to get along with him. He always run good for me, so I'm happy to be on his back and deliver today this stake.
He did. It was really impressive and a jump up for him. I saw you had your mom and your daughter here in the winner's circle. You're such a good father and family man, so you always get the biggest smile whenever I mention their names too.
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest support in this sport. You know, this sport is not easy, but when you have your family on your side, everything, you know, change, and that, you know, you think different, and I'm really focused on what I'm doing, and I'm just happy to have them here with me.
Of course, with your dad in the jocks room as well. I do want to ask you about a horse coming up next. That's K-Cup. I know you've never been aboard her. Rod Ortiz has had that assignment every single time she's run, but I thought, you know, for a big jump out in distance last time, she responded well. What's the game plan with this Jorge Abreu trainee?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 0 mile and 8 for the first time last time, so hopefully that's help her for today's race, going the same distance, and let's see how George wants me to do and go from there.
Oh, well, best of luck with her. Congratulations here, and keep smiling. Hopefully, Valentina can have a little more trophy presentations.
Hope so. Thank you.
All right, guys, Manny Franco delivering a winning ride yet again to Slap in the Face.
Yeah, again, 4th win for this 5-year-old, and beating a pretty good group here, but it's all coming together. Maybe things could have been a little different.
You know, I thought Jonathan made a very valid point about, you know, the difference between going to lead but sometimes going a little too slowly. Nonetheless, worked out unbadly for the favorite in that race, who didn't have the best of setups, but maybe the rider should have been aware that there might not have been that much pace going in.
Welcome to Andy Sterling on the show. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. And, you know, I want you to know, I played hockey as a little child.
Did you really?
Yes, I did, as a kid. Believe it or not, I played it in Princeton, but when I moved to Saratoga, where you would think there would be more, I didn't. But no, I used to spend my Saturdays at the Princeton University skating rink. My mother would drop me off, and I'd go skate there.
Had no idea.
So skated at Lawrenceville, at the Lawrenceville Academy, at an outdoor skating
How's your
rink.
slap shot?
Not strong.
Empire,
worse over time.
Empire Distaff, 1 1/8 coming up, and it's early. K-Cup, Jorge Abreu right now opens as the favorite.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, huh? Maybe
No.
the interview that Manny did. Maybe that Manny interview got people really excited.
Bernie takes charge. We'll take plenty of support in here. It's going to be Ruben Silvera aboard.
Yes, and I'm looking, it does appear that K-Cup's actually favored in doubles, which surprises me. I mean, I'm trying to beat Bernie Takes Charge, but I thought she was the horse to beat. You don't seem to disagree with me.
I thought she was as well, but public disagrees.
Well, they've been right to disagree with me today, so.
In the Classic, still to come, this is a really good race. Doc Sullivan, Iron Dome, Dr. Crow. I even thought Quick to Accuse, Bank Frenzy, all have shots in this race. Bank Frenzy, 2-1 morning line. He's been pretty neat story. He just shows up for Rudy Rodriguez.
And there's an argument down the inside last time, might not have been the best place to be, and I believe he's the worst to beat. I know he's not the favorite. I think he's the worst they have to beat. His level of consistency has been nothing short of remarkable. He's just been good time and time again. I'm going to try to beat him with Doc Sullivan, but I don't have any illusions that he's to me, he's the top dog. More so than Iron Dome.
I agree. He's got the races, but Iron Dome sort of on the come here, improving 3-year-old who got really good this year at Saratoga. One of 2 brothers in this field to Mr. Buff.
Yeah, that's what Steve Asmussen does so well. You know, he gets horses to improve, especially going longer, and continue to improve. And, you know, listen, he could win today. He could be a force if they choose to stay in this division at all next year. He's obviously pretty good. I just think he's meeting a tough group of horses. You know, sometimes you see these races and you forget he hasn't been running against older horses. He hasn't met some of these tough guys, and these are hardened veterans. You know, Bank Frenzy, Doc Sullivan, they've battled it out with a lot of very good horses.
And Doc Sullivan, former Albany winner, Iron Dome. He just won the Albany this year. And
Doc
then
Sullivan
tried
was
open.
second last year in the Albany.
What's that?
Doc Sullivan was second in the Albany last year.
Excuse me, second, to Pandagate. But ran a very, very strong
I
race
agree.
at a mile and an eighth. I even thought, too, Quick to Q's, the other brother to Mr. Buff, he's 0 for 2 at a mile and an eighth. Both those tries came on wet tracks. I thought they were excuses.
He's got races that give him a chance to get
Yeah.
a piece of this race. I agree. And I listen, I like Dr. Kraft as a horse, too. I don't know if he's quite good enough in here, but he has shown proficiency at the distance. These horses are okay, but...
Quick comeback.
Yeah, I agree. Coming back in a week is a question. I know Jonathan likes him more than I do.
That's race 10. Mile and an eighth, 2 turns, $250,000 purse in this Empire Classic. Later tonight, round 2. We have the 2-year-olds on Friday night. Breeders' Crown continues from Woodbine Mohawk Park, including Blueprint for Ron Burke. Back in action, 17 wins from 21 career starts.
There's a lot of things to love about harness racing, and I spent my childhood at Saratoga Harness and used to go to the Meadowlands a lot when I first moved here for harness racing, and they run a lot more frequently, and the consistency, and last night we saw a genuine star in horse racing. I don't care if it's harness, quarters, or thoroughbreds. This guy's a star.
He has never lost, 11 for 11 coming into this Breeders' Crown event last night, and he remains absolutely perfect, putting an exclamation point on his perfect freshman season.
Nah, you have to just sort of admire these horses, not only their talent, but also that they show up week after week after week, and this guy is proven to be unbeatable, 10 for 10, and he just dominated this field. And for people that don't watch harness and see more thoroughbred racing, you don't see the same kind of margins in harness racing you'll see in thoroughbred racing.
12 for 12 now.
12 for 12, excuse me.
Stakes, track, and Canadian record in capping off his perfect season in this performance last night.
And you say Canadian record, I think that people who follow harness racing know, Mohawk, Woodbine, the harness racing in Canada, it was always the best tracks, Meadowlands and those tracks. A lot of very, very good horses have come through there.
What a performance. Again, a lot more great coverage coming up tonight, so we hope you join us for that on Fox Sports 2, including Blueprint. That'll be in race 8 in that 1 mile pace, and a purse of over $820,000 in that one.
Looking forward to it. I'll have to catch all the action. I watched a little last night.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We will be back. Late pick 5 coming up next for 14 minutes to post. Empire Distaff, and this is the current favorite, K-Cup, Jorge Abreu. Back-to-back wins, then stretched out off a short layoff. Jorge Abreu says she is much more ready and fit to finish the job at a mile and an eighth today. Back with you on our Saturday coverage, Empire Showcase Day. You're watching America's Day at the Races. Carved a pumpkin with the kids.
Really?
5-6 days later, had to throw it out. Never had a pumpkin go bad on me that fast.
That fast?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're going to have to do it again.
What'd you make? Just a normal pumpkin? Anything special?
Nothing special. But not the best.
No. Listen, I didn't do anything, so.
Race 7, Empire Distaff, and there is K-Cup, still favored. 3-year-old filly for Jorge Abreu. Let's go down to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll check in with her first off the bat. And Greg, always carve your pumpkins only a day or two before Halloween for best results. Been my experience as K-Cup. I was on the positive end of the spectrum when it came to her getting the 9 furlongs in her first try last time out. Now, she was wired by Viamente, whom we'll get to in a moment, but I still think K-Cup ran okay, considering she was out wide, maybe a day where you wanted to be a little bit more inside, at least saving ground, obviously is always a good thing to do, but she looks sensational here. And in her brief campaign and career so far, where this is only her 5th start of her career, she's learned to settle. A horse that, would often give them fits getting the tack on, just be a little bit too energetic and expend too much energy prior to her starts. She's settled nicely, and I always find that such a positive sign when trying to get these longer distances. So I like her demeanor here. I like the way she looks. She looks fit. She looks healthy. She's dappled head to toe, and she just checks every box for me. Whereas her main rival, Viamente, who has the speed edge over her, though we'll see, what other horses do, such as Bernie Takes Charge, who's obviously faster, how much havoc that wreaks on Viamente. The thing is though, she's been shipping all around. She had that race down at Colonial. Now she's had to come back here. And for a filly that is already just a lighter framed type, I wonder how detrimental that becomes. She does look a bit lighter than when I saw her 2 back. Her coat's kind of gone. I respect her because she often steps up and, kind of overachieves a little bit. But I just thought, relative to her last start in Saratoga, she looked better then than what she does today. Greg?
Thank you, Maggie. Post parade coming up. 9 minutes away from this 7th ahead, and let's go back to the top 3 finishers coming out of that Fleet Indian. Viamente won at K-Cup, second, who maybe was a little bit short, trying to go a mile and 1/8 for the first time off a couple of months rest.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if Fleet Indian is a horse that's better suited to shorter distances, and I wonder if Jorge Abreu had considered running her in the Iroquois and maybe just a little tougher, top-heavy in that race. I didn't think she had any excuse here, and I didn't really think that she was finishing. I think it's a different race for Viamente because she's not going to be able to get a clear lead, at least on paper, unless the 2 doesn't get out of the gate. So a different situation. Maybe it helps her, but frankly, I took the 3, Valtellina, because I thought if anybody was going to be helped by the change in race dynamics, it would be her, more so than K-Cup, who's a much shorter price, and I'm just questioning her. She really wants to go this far.
We'll find out. That's for Viamente on your screen right now. Turf to dirt for Joe Sharp. Most of her wins. She went gate to wire 2 back on dirt, but she has been able to sit off as you take a look at Dylan Davis, who will be aboard Valtellina.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, K-Cup's not a need-a-lead type horse. I mean, as far as Viamente, I wonder if Viamente is going to win at a mile and 1/8 rating. You look at the race in New York Oaks, well, she rated there and she couldn't win at 4 to 5. I have question marks about her. I want to take Valtellina. The only problem with Valtellina is she doesn't have that fast race. She's going to have to improve.
Seems like, though, one who is on the improve here, getting late into her 3-year-old campaign. I thought really ready to make a move forward. If she can, she's going to be dangerous in here for Ray Handel. She is 6-1 on the board. Pick 5 will begin here. 9-2. This is not going to hold up, but probably not, as you said, not going to be the favorite, which is a bit surprising. Bernie Takes Charge.
I'm shocked, to be honest with you. I don't care what happened to Personal Ends. She didn't belong in that race, to be honest with you. And all she did was engage with Randomize, who also finished a city block behind. She's been running very well. She can handle the distance. She is the inside speed. Ruben Silvera ain't giving it up. And I don't understand why she's not only not favored, she's like a distant 3rd choice right now. And to me, that makes no sense.
Leg up. Hopping out of to get up quickly, Ruben Silvera for trainer Dominic Schettino, filling in for the injured Romero Mirage. And here comes our post parade. So some huge efforts from Bernie Takes Charge in against New York, even in open company in stakes company. She's been very good. But some improving 3-year-old fillies she's going to deal with today. We start things off, Sweetest Princess, Linda Ricebarn, Jose Lezcano.
Yeah, she got a nice ride last time to win a gold rail. She is overmatched here. I'm surprised she's only 10-1, to be honest.
Here is Bernie Takes Charge and 2-back winner of the Critical Eye.
Yeah, I think that she's been in great form. I mean, she's had some things go her own way, but I still think that she's the fastest horse on her good races.
Val Tellina, 3-year-old for Ray Handel.
As I said, I like Val Tellina. I'm hoping she gets enough pace to close into today.
K-Cup, second try at 1 1/8.
I understand. She's good. She's got talent, but I just don't think she should be the favorite.
Viamente, turf to dirt for Joe Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if she can have the same result, not likely to get the lead.
What am I missing on box 1 taking all this money?
Well, I'd rather take Sweetest Princess than her. At least she has some good races. Boxed wine, I think you finished an entire box of wine if you're betting her at under 10-1.
Midnight Concerto, Kenny McPeak having an incredible meet.
Yeah, the horses Jimmy has in New York have been running very well, and I can understand the argument for her if the race falls apart. I just don't know if she's good enough to win, but maybe she's improved, but mostly she's improved on turf.
3 very interesting 3-year-old fillies in this Empire Distaff, and Maggie's standing by with a trainer on one of them.
I'm getting tips for Jamaica from, the source, Ray Handel here. But Ray, let's talk about your horse here in Valtellina. Last time I thought she had probably the toughest trip of any of the 3 horses that come out of there.
Yeah, she really doesn't like kickbacks, so it's kind of like finding that fine line where you're like, saving ground and also keeping the kickback out of her face. So, I think she lost a little bit of position going into the first turn, but trying to avoid kickback. She came with the massive run at the end, so we're hoping, work out a better trip. She's going to have to fight through kickback today, though. I think with the speed in front of her and the stalkers to her outside, I feel like she's probably going to get, stuck inside there. So he's going to have to work out a good trip for sure. But, hoping for a different story today.
Now, she has always been a bigger type, and it always looked as though more distance would be well within her wheelhouse. But also, what I like that I've observed from her is that she seems to be mentally maturing too. She used to get really revved up prior to races and quite settled today.
Yeah, well, we've been walking her for about 5 hours, so I think I've had about 5 different hot walkers on her. So we kind of know her tricks now. She's definitely like on the muscle. I feel like she's just on the cusp of being over the top, but just as composed as you could possibly be without being over that limit. So yeah, we're just keep working with it. I should ask you in the beginning because I didn't think she wanted to go that far until she started kind of running out of form. I was like, oh, I don't know. I might as well try her long because she's not getting it done sprinting.
No, I've always thought she looked like she would handle more distance at least, but I get it. There's pedigree there, right?
Yeah, complexity. It was McLean's music. I don't know. I should have, like I said, I should have consulted with you first before I was like, screw it. I'll just.
Are we trading jobs?
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. Give me the mic. I got you.
I know you'll take the mic. Well, Ray, congratulations. Best of luck, I should say. Yeah, I don't want to, jinx you there, but thank you for your time as always.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Max.
All right, as Valtellina for Ray, she looks to make amends on that effort last time out in the Fleet Indian, guys.
See if she can take a step forward and pick up the first stakes win of her career. Stakes placed her last 2 outings, but now stepping in against older company.
Yeah, this is the point where you sort of have to do it, right? They're actually doing it in the Breeders' Cup. 3-year-olds are actually running against olders, and this is what happens later in the year in these races, and a lot of times you have up-and-comers. And I think all of these horses have some ability. They have not run, though, as fast as Bernie Takes Charge, and I still maintain she's the one to beat. But all of these horses can run a little bit, and we'll see how they do over time, along with today.
3s for both Andy and Maggie.
Sure, Maggie was just sucking up to Ray.
Might have been.
I'm never sucking up to Ray. But I actually didn't talk to Ray about this, but I think Maggie and I probably have a similar idea that maybe this is a better situation than the Fleet Indian where she really had no pace to close into and the pace totally held together. Maybe this will be a bit different.
He's going to have his first ever Breeders' Cup starter as well in the Juvenile Fillies turf. Here's Johnny.
Fillies or Colts?
Colts, excuse me. Here's Johnny, who was runner-up in the Pilgrim.
Yeah, I know. I'll be honest with you. I was watching the Pilgrim. I don't know if you've taken a look at it. I was getting a lot of the work done for the Breeders' Cup. I actually think that horse ran better than the winner. And I think the horse that might have run the best of any of them was the horse who finished third, the Maiden. It's run twice. Now, I'm not sure I like any of them in the Breeders' Cup, to be honest with you. But those are somewhat wide-open races, depending on the Euros.
Tough Europeans that are in the pre-entries,
I
for
found
sure.
a stat for Aidan O'Brien. Shipping to North America, he's 1 for 16 on 3 weeks or less rest, 21 days or less. And both of his main players in the juvenile Phillies turf and the juvenile turf are coming in off 20 or 21 days. And it's the success he had last year, they were off 4 and 5 weeks. Just a little bit of food for thought.
No question. Let's go back to Maggie.
Thanks, guys. And taking a look at the speed horse in here, Bernie Takes Charge. Look, what chance did she have last time out in the Grade 1 Personal Ensign, battling on the front end against the best of that generation. Now she's back with her friends in the New York bred ranks, and obviously she is very good at this 9 furlong 2-turn configuration because, as I always said, it's easier for these speed horses because they get a little breather around these turns here. Now, have I seen her look a bit better than what she does today? Yes, it's just as if that cooler weather is kind of taking its effect. Her coat's a bit longer, her weight's not quite as good. From a dynamic standpoint, there's a chance where she jumps up and wins here. I just wish she looked better if I was going to take her. And Andy, here's the trivia question. Who was that horse? I believe she won the Belmont Oaks, that one horse that came back off a quick turnaround, and I can't remember her name for Aidan O'Brien.
Maggie is correct. It was Santa Barbara, and I wouldn't have remembered if I hadn't looked it up yesterday, but it was Santa Barbara. She's the only winner. She's right. And as Maggie will remember, she was a total layover in the field, and I think she only won by about a half length.
Here's the favorite stepping in, K-Cup, Jorge Abreu. Off 2.5 months rest, was second to Viamente in that Fleet Indian. First try at 1 1/8, first try 2 turns. Here comes another shot at it as the one to beat. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the Empire Distaff.
Midnight Concerto. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Bat stumble to start for Valtellina is going to be the early trailer. Sweetest Princess is asked for early speed, so is Bernie Takes Charge, and these two go at it in the early stages, head and head. Just off of them is going to be Viamente, who's out wider here, is going to be stalking from third, is trying to take back now is Jose Lescano and Sweetest Princess. Noticing that fast early pace, is trying to take back now. Here is Bernie Takes Charge, and immediately Viamente is ready to pounce on this leader, and these two now sprint away. A lot of pace on here early, 23.77 for the opening quarter mile. Taken back will be Sweetest Princess, is back to third as the front two are in a pace duel now, and they are 5 lengths in front. K-Cup is a well-settled fourth, then behind them, that's going to be Boxed Wine. Valtellina has made up some ground after that beginning, and the trailer at the back end of the field is Midnight Concerto. The pace duel continues. Bernie Takes Charge with a half-length advantage. Viamente and the front two 6 lengths in front. Sweetest Princess is alone in third. K-Cup now gets the hurry up here from fourth. Valtellina starts to rally on from fifth. Boxed Wine is dropping back, and Midnight Concerto is the trailer. They're starting to slowly cut into the margin of the top two. Bernie Takes Charge, Viamente, 111.64 for 3/4. And here comes Sweetest Princess, who's now chasing. K-Cup is towards the outside. Valtellina, Dylan Davis, they're taking the inside route, and Valtellina is the one who's showing the most run right now. Valtellina moves to the outside. Bernie Takes Charge, and Valtellina is sprinting after this leader now. Bernie Takes Charge is gutting this out, but Valtellina, after that beginning, has recovered and now taken the lead. Valtellina sprinting away. A 16th left to go. No doubt who was best in the Empire Distaff. It was Valtellina to win it. Bernie Takes Charge second, Midnight Concerto, and Boxed Wine in 1 minute 50 seconds flat.
It looked unsustainable, and it was for Bernie Take Charge and Viamente going at it fast early. Valtellina comes to get him.
And this is the winning moment, right? Dylan could have followed the 4 and gone outside, but he realized he had an opportunity to cut the corner. And look at how it changes when he cuts the corner, right? He keeps all that momentum going, and she got the great trip anyway, but Dylan really made a decisive move by staying inside. And keep in mind, she didn't break. She broke about a length slow. Now, in a fast pace, it doesn't really matter as this race came apart, but let me just say something. I know she didn't win. How did Bernie Takes Charge run in this race? I mean, the horse that dueled with
Incredible.
her, she's barely finishing. I mean, this was a tremendous performance by the runner-up, and she only lost this race because of how quick the pace was. And this horse ended up taking full advantage of it for Ray.
Basically her knees coming out of the gate, Valtellina. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it dropped her back a good length and a half. In fact, she's even behind the 8 here. Now, the 8 has less speed than I have, and she's able to get there. But Dylan did a good job of making sure she kept that position, made that decisive move. Yeah, things worked out, but she ran well. But, man, I think Bernie's Takes Charge. I mean, she ran too well to lose this race. What a performance by her in defeat.
Huge effort in defeat after getting tackled and harassed by Viamente, who was nowhere in the end.
And it does show K-Cup does not want this distance. And listen, you can't learn unless you do it. I mean, even Boxed Wine finished 4th, which is sort of amazing. Midnight Concerto picked up the pieces for 3rd.
3-2-8-6, 4th choice on the board with the win.
I thought I might get a better price than 4-1, to be honest. And I didn't love her, and she got, bad start or not, she got about as good a trip after that as a horse could get. And I'm sorry, I cashed, but Bernie Takes Charge. She ran too well to lose. This was such a
very big effort in a losing performance as the runner-up, though. Valtellina gets the win. Dylan Davis loved what he saw setting up in front of him and able to take advantage. Trained by Ray Handel, owned by Pavilion Racing. It's Valtellina's 2nd career win in this Empire Distaff.
The Best 2-Year-Old by legendary sire Quality Road.
Get back, $1,000,005.
Very, very impressive debut. Cantering home. Could not have been more impressive.
Coast to coast in the American Pharaoh. He's the real deal.
Undefeated and unchallenged at 2.
He's just too good. He wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Corniche.
You're never more here than when you're here. Here is more than just a horse race. Here is where you want to be. And here's the horse that's going to make it happen.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup.
Here she is, coming around the final turn. Making sure that this year, you won't be anywhere else, but here.
Cyberknife was a very talented horse from day one. A very gifted, fast horse, a lot of speed, able to carry it around 2 turns. Looks a tremendous amount like Gunrunner, same ability and talent, beautiful physical, outworked every horse on the board. Holds the track record in the Haskell. He won it in impressive fashion, beating a very good group of horses.
And Cyberknife has won the TVG.com Haskell over Tama. Jack Christopher finished 3rd.
The Arkansas Derby was one of his best. Showed how much talent he really does have and stamped himself as one of the best 3-year-olds in the country.
His name is Cyberknife.
Cyberknife ranks up there as one of the most talented horses I've ever had in training. Multiple Grade 1 winner, brought it every time you let him over there. Excited about him passing on his durability, his soundness, and his talent. And if he does, he could definitely be a breed-shaping stallion.
Good to have you with us on our Saturday coverage. Empire Showcase Day on America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by Gainesway. Power, passion, performance. Late pick 5 underway. Empire Distaff and Valtellina for trainer Ray Handel picks up the first stakes win of her career.
Maybe the interview with Maggie was the deciding factor for Ray to get it done. But nice ride by Dylan, and happy for Ray, of course, friend of the show.
He was just, what was it, 2 weeks ago? He joined us on the set.
Just last week at one point.
Did a good job.
Yeah.
$10.94 for the win. 3-2-8 finish. And this Empire Distaff starts off this late pick 5. Let's go back to Maggie.
The laughs never stop here when it comes to Ray winning a race. But Valtellina, and please be joined here by owner Vinny Clerico's too. Ray, expletive out of the gate. Were you as nervous as we were watching it?
Yeah, I was a little concerned when she went down like that, but Dylan did a great job getting her back. Got her back into the race, and fortunately, giddy up, Dylan.
Exactly. What a ride, too. You know, thereafter, he kind of gathered up Ray. She handled the kickback today, and I thought a really good and smart move to cut the corner.
Yeah, well, we were talking it out through the race. We're like, what? I was like, is he going to go? What's he doing? And then I was like, oh, this is actually a great decision. But good thing Dylan was on his back because he made all the right decisions. Yeah, the rest of the field like it was looked like it was fanning out. He stayed to the inside, saved ground, made the split, and she was just there for him the whole way.
This has to be so rewarding, Vinny, for a filly that's been kind of knocking on the door, running well, but to get this win, it's like,
Yeah, she tries hard every single race, and this time we finally caught the brakes, and she got home. It was great.
Awesome. Well, guys, enjoy this win. She definitely did it in style.
We will. Thank you.
Yes, Vinny said, the phone's been going off. I said, that's a good thing, Vinny. So lots of messages and calls to respond to. Guys.
Thanks, Maggie.
A little hardware to take with you.
Naja working very hard today. I gave him a break. I presented the trophy for the third. He was a little tired out. Stopped by the office.
I heard you had done that, and I missed it.
They
I'm sorry.
didn't even need me. They had one of the little girls there. She was holding the trophy. They didn't need me at all.
They want star power for days like this.
They better find somebody better than me then.
Cross country pick 5 starts in the next race coming up. It's the Iroquois, 6.5 furlongs. Fillies, mares 3-up, where My Main Squeeze will be a heavy favorite here. It includes Keeneland and Belmont at the Big A.
Well, getting in the way of the Mike Maker freight train is a dangerous thing to do, but I'm gonna stick with my girl Sterling Silver, especially at a much better price.
She drops out of a grade 2 in the Gallant Bloom, where she was third behind our disaster who went gate to wire that day, but there's no question My Main Squeeze at her best will be incredibly tough to beat. She's even money right now.
No argument. She's good, you know. I agree. I heard her works lately at Churchill have just been okay.
All right.
For what it's worth.
We'll get a look at the field coming up momentarily. We're going to talk Classic. November 1st, Saturday, we're closing in, week away.
You like anyone?
There's a horse by, I think he won the Jim Dandy.
Right, I heard of him. Ran Saratoga a few times while we were up there this summer.
No walks. Todd Pletcher's quartet down to a trio, but this is all eyes on this guy with what he has accomplished in an incredible 3-year-old campaign. He may have done enough already to lock up Horse of the Year.
And that's a reasonable discussion, actually. You know, this is what the Breeders' Cup has to be. This is what fall racing used to be, is when the best 3-year-olds run against the best older horses. And this really is happening this year. Because not only do you have Sovereignty, you've got Baeza, you've got Journalism, you've got Nevada Beach, who's improving against all the horses, the 1, 2, 3 finishers from last year's Classic. This is what is supposed to happen, and this is exciting.
Let's go to Acacia with Bill Mott.
Well, of course, it will be his first time taking on older horses, but seems like he's been handling everything that's been thrown at him thus far.
He has. He's been very good about everything. I mean, he's handled the group that he's run against, and he's been, you know, I think he's come out probably the dominant 3-year-old this year. But when you're taking on the older horses, they're much more experienced, and 3 of the top horses out of the Breeders' Cup Classic from last year are back in there. So you're dealing with experienced, tough, hardened horses, and it's a new and a bigger challenge.
It seems as he's matured. He's been able to kind of put himself into the race a little bit more. We saw him be a little bit more forward in the Travers. Do you think that that's a benefit for him going into this Classic?
I think it is. I think early positioning in the race is always important. I mean, you don't want to have to have a horse that's, you know, way out the back, because you've got, you know, the entire field to get through or go around or whatever path you have to choose. He's kind of developed that style on his own. I mean, he's developed an earlier pace situation for himself where he can break and, you know, get in the race rather than be completely out of the race.
How have you seen him develop both mentally and physically into the latter half of his 3-year-old season?
Physically, I mean, he's really come on. I mean, he's a massive horse. I mean, he's a lot of horse, a lot of substance to him, big, powerful horse. You know, he eats well and is a good feeling horse, and he's easy to train because he likes to train. Definitely gone the right way in every aspect, I think. You know, I think he's shown more ability as the year has gone on, and he actually looks the part.
What a streak he's put together. Kentucky Derby, Belmont Jim Dandy Travers.
Well, he could have run the Preakness and won the Triple Crown.
Could have.
He didn't. He could. I'm just pointing it out.
Another word we could throw in there. Should have. He's been incredible. Incredible. And, you know, it's good. We talk about how good journalism has been, and we saw what he did in the Preakness. And he hasn't been able to get to this horse.
I'm beginning to wonder a little bit if he's had enough of being around Sovereignty, to be honest. He's, you know, he ran well to get it done in the Haskell, but he hasn't continued forward. And I'm a journalism fan, and I respect so much Eclipse running him in all 3 Triple Crown races, a year we really needed him to, and he ran so well in all of them. He ran winning races in all of them, but he has not improved the way Sovereignty has. It's a simple fact. And even Baeza, I think, has moved forward a little bit. These are good 3-year-olds. You know, it's not just that Sovereignty is terrific. He's not beating up on just a bunch of tomato cans. He's beating some very, very good horses. In a lot of years, we'd be talking about whether or not Baeza or journalism could compete against the best horses. And he, at this point, is sort of towering over them.
Yeah, no question. But you also got to deal with the top 3 finishers, as you mentioned, from last year's Classic, who all 3 of them have had tremendous careers.
They have. I mean, you know, obviously things didn't go well for Forever Young when he didn't run well in Dubai, and he hasn't had that big a season, which bothers me a little bit. But Sierra Leone has run well. Fierceness has had some good races. And I think at least in this Pacific Classic, he put away, because I think it was very fair before the Pacific Classic to say, does Fierceness have it anymore? You know, like, you got to stop with the excuses, you know?
Yeah.
After the way he ran the Whitney, I don't think
His
any
career was in
excuses.
question.
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if he ran poorly in the Pacific Classic, he'd been retired. So that race put those things to bed. Now, he still has some questions about, you know, his best races, but to be fair, he does show up more often than not, and he's an immensely talented horse, as is Sierra Leone.
Only one horse ever has gone back-to-back and won the Classic twice. That was Tiz Now. Sierra Leone with a chance to do that this year.
Well, let's hope we get the kind of stretch run we had in the 2001 Breeders' Cup, right, when Tiz Now and Saki were battling. I mean, that's an amazing race, the way Tiz Now came back. And this guy, I'm going to argue that his Jockey Club, considering what happened early in the race, may have been the best race he ever ran. And he's a mighty foe. The scary part is, if Sovereignty improves from the Travers, I don't know what he can do to beat him, assuming they both get fair trips. I think he can win this race, but Sovereignty's a horse that seems to be improving every single time he runs, and that's a scary proposition.
Growing up late in this part of the year as a 3-year-old, you expect a bigger jump. Certainly, Sierra Leone's done his growing up.
It's hard to believe Sierra Leone's going to run better than he did in the Jockey Club, and I don't know that that's going to be good enough to beat Sovereignty. I'm going to end up betting him, because I think the value will be, I'm going to overbet Sovereignty, but Sovereignty's going to be very tough to beat.
You also, with Fierceness too, with a couple of examples now, and Sierra Leone, and Forever Young, we all know they like Del Mar. They've run good over the track.
No question about it. I mean, you could argue the 2 of the best races Fierceness has ever run have been his races at Del Mar. And I don't understand why Mike Rapoli's all upset about the pace setter in there, because it doesn't hurt Fierceness. Fierceness doesn't need the lead to win these races. He didn't have it in the Pacific Classic. He's shown the ability to sit behind horses. Mindframe doesn't need the lead to win, so I don't understand. I don't see... The pace setter may help Sierra Leone, but it doesn't hurt this horse. It doesn't hurt Mindframe. I mean, am I wrong?
I don't think so.
You know,
I feel like they can flick that horse off and just not worry about
he's
him.
in there, you're sitting second to him, and you're supposed to make the move. Now, it didn't work out in the Whitney, but the way he ran the Pacific Classic, I don't see why it's supposed to be a problem. He may not win, but I don't believe it's going to be because there's a pace setter in the race.
Yeah. I mean, there is an argument to be, and it's not, you know, horse didn't actually break well and didn't get out and then kind of rolled on by, and that may have set Fierceness off. Who knows? Maybe.
I don't know the answer. The point is that Fierceness has shown the ability to stalk. We saw what he did in his last race. Presumably, he's not going to have a problem to start. I'm sure they would prefer not to draw the rail where he might duck in again, and I hope he doesn't. But I don't see why that pace setter, it may help Sierra Leone or make it a fairer race, but it's not going to negatively affect Fierceness's opportunity to run his best race. And the same can be said for Mindframe, who honestly is one of my favorite horses in training. I don't know if he's good enough. I love the fact that Mindframe can run effectively at just about any distance.
I just wish he,
I know.
we all do.
We all do.
That he got a race into him, and then now because of what happened in that last start, unfortunate incident, doesn't have a race since really June 28th.
It's very fair. I mean, there's so many things unfortunate about what happened in Saratoga. The most fortunate thing is that both Irad and Mindframe were okay.
Win an all-expenses paid trip to the 2026 and the one you really want to be at, 2027 Breeders' Cup World Championships.
If you need train fare that day, I got you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Of course, we'll be at the brand new, beautiful Belmont Park. Go to breederscup.com to enter. Good luck to everyone. Back to our Saturday Action Empire Showcase Day in the Iroquois coming up. My Main Squeeze. The homebred for Buck Butler, back in action for Mike Maker with Ricardo Santana Jr. Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll check in with your current 4-5 favorite here in the paddock, Greg. And boy, does she look like a heavy favorite. I know she's coming off of that eased effort last time out in the Grade 1 Ballerina, in which she kind of just had a little bit of a rough beginning, and so therefore it put her behind the 8 ball. She was put in chase mode where she just never looked comfortable, and eventually Luis Saez just kind of eased her and she was walked home after that. So ample time to recover, has been preparing for this start back down at Churchill with Mike Maker, which obviously the barn's been going guns a-blazing, and so every string is doing well. But I do think it's interesting that Mike, who is predominantly based in Kentucky, except for when he's in Saratoga, has had a watchful eye on her. She looks excellent. Literally, that's what I wrote in my notes. There's nothing I can fault her with. She does have the pony there in front of her. She's always had that. She's responding beautifully. She's not over the top. She's not doing too much. She's just got that contained confidence that you like to see from a favorite. Moving on to number 1, Cupid's Heart, who at times has run races that would win here. She, however, does consistently have a bit of trouble getting out of the gate. But the one thing I'll say about her is that she does tend to run well fresh. Is this enough time between races? I don't know. But she does benefit from a bit of spacing between efforts. She looks great here. I mean, got a little bit of a longer coat to her overall, but she looks fit. She's a very alert disposition. I like the way she's kind of walking around, looking at everybody. She just looks like a fresh type of runner. So we'll see what she does here. The inside post, I don't know if that necessarily does her any favors. Then a horse that is sitting up there at a big price is a layoff runner, number 6, Stonewall Star. The board would suggest take the wait and see approach, but I have to report on her because she really caught my eye. I know she comes back here and at a shorter distance in which the bulk of her best efforts have come going a bit longer here for Horacio de Paz, but she looks fit. She looks incredibly well muscled. She's sharp, which you like to see when horses are turning back in distance. And I don't love the fact that the front wraps do go on for this return effort, but Greg, this might be just a stepping off point, but at least watching her here in the paddock, she does look ready for a return to the races.
Maggie alluded to the stats for Horacio as one of my favorite trainers.
They're not
He's
good.
1 for 33 in 6 to 12 month layoffs in dirt sprints.
This is the one to beat. My Main Squeeze, millionaire, graded stakes winner, but coming off, granted, a grade 1 where she was eased. Stay with us.
As a 2-time Grade 1 winner with 6 consecutive triple-digit buyers, Liam's Map has taken that success to stud, a proven sire, from the sales ring to the winner's circle, with hundreds of 6-figure yearling sales and multiple Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf, including recent Grade 1 winners Burnham Square and Deterministic. Liam's Map, standing at Lane's End.
It is Sterling Silver racing in second. Lilo in front, 2 lengths. Sterling Silver is all out in second. Captain's Daughter is next in third. Lilo, Sterling Silver. They are 1-2 inside the 16th pole. Sterling Silver on the outside now grabs the lead, and Sterling Silver wins the Iroquois Stakes.
Sterling Silver, can she do it again? Got a wet track back 2023. Going to have a dry track this time around.
I think there is a reasonable question whether or not she's a little past the expiration date, and her last race was a disappointment. She wasn't catching our disaster, but probably should have made a little bit better run, and maybe I'm just sort of holding on to hope. But I'm not going to hold her Johnstone against her when it was a ridiculously slow pace, and she's not a turf horse, so I'll give her one more chance, especially at what she's not supposed to be 4-1. This is silly.
Cupid's Heart kicks off the post parade. It is Bruce Levine from the inside post.
I actually think she has a chance. I picked her third. She is a horse that has problems with the gate, and the rail does her no favors.
Storm Changer, 45-1 long shot.
She is a long shot for a reason.
The one to beat. And in the Johnstone, she was the one to catch. My main squeeze.
I think in the Johnstone, that sort of the situation makes her look better than she is, but she's very good.
Jorge Abreu, Stone Smuggler.
She's supposed to be forward in this race.
Kara's Time. Jose Lezcano rides.
Yeah, I've always liked Kara's Time. She gets back to the dirt. I just don't know if she's good enough.
Stonewall Star, interesting mare, but a long time away.
Well, I mean, Maggie's right. I mean, she has races that make her a real contender. The layoff concerns me, though.
Sunday Girl for David Duggan.
Might have had a dead rail last time out. I think she has a chance for a piece.
Here's Sterling Silver, comes out of Grade 2 company.
Yeah, she's going to drop down, and she should. I mean, she's kind of the class in the field, and this is what she does best, sprint to the dirt.
And Kali Magic, Rudy Rodriguez, second off the claim.
Another one that can be forward. With Ruben, you can expect this horse to be moving early.
5 minutes away from the start of this Iroquois, and Sunday Girl on the board, the 7 at 6-1. Standing by with her trainer, let's go to Maggie.
That's right, Dave Duggan, he's watching our monitor. You like that monitor, don't you? Sunday Girl. Look, I feel as though you had to take advantage of the way these New York bred races came up with going to the turf. And she ran well the first time at it. But going back to the dirt here, what are you expecting from her getting back to State Bred Company?
Well, I wasn't expecting my main squeeze, even though she is a New York bred. But look, we dabbled in the grass. It worked once, it didn't work the second time. We tried Delaware, and we felt like Delaware was a decent enough run based on the track. I don't think she quite handled the track as well as I thought she should, but she's bounced out of it very good. And look, for the way the races flowed, this was the next option. I think, you know, she couldn't be doing any better. Is she good enough? That's the question.
The speed, they went fast in that Delaware race, but it wasn't her customary early speed that we're used to seeing. Are we going to see that here today?
I'll leave it in Katie's hands. I just told her, I said, you're going an extra half a furlong, so the dynamics of the race are going to change. So I just, leave it in her hands. She knows what she's doing. But it comes down to if you're good enough.
As it always does. Well, Dave, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Can Sunday Girl win on a Saturday here in this Iroquois? Greg?
Well, it is the weekend at least. She's been very good. 5 for 6 on this track with her only defeat, a runner-up finish.
She has gotten good. And you look at how good she was last winter, and, she got a field in the turf where she had a huge pace edge over them. And last time out, she may really have been in the wrong part of the racetrack. If she can find her 2 best races, she's a contender in this race at a very juicy price.
But also kind of has to hope My Main Squeeze doesn't run her best, right?
My Main Squeeze runs her best race. She's probably going to win. And Sterling Silver's the only horse, I think, that on her good day can compete with her. But Sterling Silver could be past her, her prime, and you're talking about horses 3 to 5 that was eased in her last start. Grade 1 or not, she was eased.
Yep, that's a major red flag staring you right in the face. Well, Sterling Silver, this is the Bay Ridge we're going back to. Oh, we're going way back.
Well, I mean, I was finding a race where she was with somebody else. And it's the last time she actually ran that competitively, and Stonewall Star was in here as well. That's why I did that. And I thought she ran very well here, going a little farther than hers best. A race that had a relatively slow pace that just made it a little hard for her to close into. I thought she ran well there, and I'm a fan. Now 5-2 is a lot more of a realistic price. I'm not wildly against the 3, but I don't believe there should be this price discrepancy. I really don't. I know the Maker barn is going great, and betting against that barn has been a tough thing to do lately, but I don't want to get too carried away at these prices. You got to 3 to 5.
Well, this one here coming out of a graded stake, Stone Smuggler is coming out of a graded stakes race as well. Let's go to Maggie.
And she's up there at 20 to 1 in an awfully ambitious spot, coming off of the layoff, going from 2 to 3 to dive right into that grade 3 Prioress, in which she was part of the pace, which we saw come back a bit and set up for the eventual winner, Praying, who came back in Kentucky with another stakes victory, posting a 90 buyer speed figure. And Stone Smuggler, she's always been this incredibly robust filly. I mean, she is broad and just everything about her is just substance. You know, I would love to see what she weighed, honestly, because she has to be up there at, 1,100 to 1,200 pounds, just because there's so much of her. And with that being said, fitness is always going to be at a premium with her. You know, how much is she able to gain out of morning workouts, and a race is going to do so much more. As they often say, a race is like 10 workouts. So I think that effort has, you would have to think in theory, set her up well getting back to New York bred company. I love her appearance here. This is a bit of a tougher spot against some of those veterans like My Main Squeeze and Sterling Silver, who have the age and obviously the experience and the fast races over her. But I'm intrigued to see what she does here, if she can take another step forward, Greg.
See what happens at a big number here, 4 to 5. My Main Squeeze, as Andy mentioned, eased last start, grade 1 ballerina this summer, Saratoga. Start before that, though, it would be almost impossible to beat her.
Yeah, but she had everything her own way. She's not seeing 23 and 2 for the first quarter in this race. At least she shouldn't. The 4 and 9 are both faster. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. With the 4, it's a bit of a free roll. She won that Stallion Series $500,000 race last year, so she's already banked a lot of money. Why not take a shot, see where she belongs with these horses? Give her a chance.
Here is My Main Squeeze. Multiple graded stakes winner in her career.
Good horse. She won the 8 Bells last year in the slop. She's run well in a lot of races, but I don't discount the 8's okay too.
And that price has come down considerably, down to 2 to 1.
As it should. Well, they are the 2 big dogs, right?
No question. Iroquois on Empire Showcase Day, 6.5 furlongs. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
47th running of the Iroquois, $200,000. All set. And they're off. Sunday Girl flashes early speed and Stone Smuggler towards the inside. Stone Smuggler, Sunday Girl, they're 1-2, and Stone Smuggler now with the nose in front. Up on the far outside is Kali Magic. Kara's Time wants to join the early fray, and Kara's Time at a big number now splits rivals and pushes the tempo, is now a neck in front of Sunday Girl, who goes with that leader. Stone Smuggler takes back, is now back to third. My Main Squeeze just had to check, is back towards the back end of the field now. Moving up with the outside, Kali Magic has taken third. Under a drive is Stone Smuggler losing ground. Stonewall Star, Dylan Davis in between horses, rallying around rivals. Here comes Sterling Silver. My Main Squeeze, Cupid's Heart, and the trailer, Storm Changer. Sunday Girl has taken the lead. It's Sunday Girl in front. Kara's Time starts to back out of it. Stonewall Star presents the new challenge 3 wide. 45.31 for a half-mile time. Can Sunday Girl keep going? Sunday Girl is in front. Stonewall Star in full pursuit. Sterling Silver tips towards the outside. Sunday Girl has not given up yet, and it's Sunday Girl still holding him off. Stonewall Star, Sterling Silver, complexion changes now. Sterling Silver with a rush has now thrust to the front. Sterling Silver won it. Sterling Silver wins the Iroquois. Then came Stonewall Star, who's in a photo with Sunday Girl, and the oncoming My Main Squeeze in 1 minute 15 seconds flat.
Sterling Silver dropping out of a graded stake. The millionaire wins this race yet again, and things did not go to plan for My Main Squeeze.
Well, first of all, Junior did a great job of getting Sterling Silver into position. She was never that far out of it. And when she is in this position against these horses, she's in a great spot for her. She was ahead of My Main Squeeze in the backstretch. My Main Squeeze didn't break that sharply. Ricardo had to ride her just to try to motivate her. She didn't show any speed, and while she clunked along for, I think, third in this race, she was never a factor at any point in here. Stonewall Star ran well off the layoff, but Sterling Silver, she came back with one of her efforts, and I'm glad to see it. I just always had a big thing for this horse, and I'm glad to see her run so well.
10th win of her career. Well over already coming into this race millionaire status, but she was motoring home.
She's a cool horse. She really is a cool horse. It's nice to see her get it done. I don't know. This is just a horse I've always had an affinity for. I like these kind of closing sprinters, and she gets it done. My Main Squeeze, as we had mentioned, hadn't been training great at Churchill. Well, that may have been a big tell there, right? Because she was flat. Just not, I mean, for her to be that far back. She was behind this horse 3/8 of the mile into the race. That's an almost impossibility unless she gets completely left.
Yeah.
And she didn't get left. She didn't break that sharply, but she didn't get left.
8-6-3-7. And for Stonewall Star to do that off the bench, hadn't raced this year at all.
It's an excellent race by her. She also got a very nice ride by Dylan, who had her in great position.
But yeah, one to keep your eyes on next time out. Sterling Silver, though, with the win. Again, 10th victory of her career. And a 4-5 favorite defeated here on Empire Showcase Day. We're going to take a time out. It's Sterling Silver in the Iroquois for the victory, rolling down the lane under Junior Alvarado for Belmont.
McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, home to 4-time leading New York sires Central Banker, sire of champion New York bred Bank Frenzy.
Bank Frenzy, a hard-fought winner of the Commentator.
And multiple stakes winner Sunday Girl.
Clear winner in the John Hettinger Sunday Girl.
Also standing into mischief's Grade 1 Sun Provocateur. And top young stallion Solomini, sire of Mike Lee Stakes winner Doc Sullivan. At McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, celebrating over 50 years of equine excellence.
The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at nairabets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championship with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
He's a running son of a gun.
Papa Cap now has the advantage.
A graded stakes winning 2-year-old. Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile runner-up at 2. Multiple Grade 1 placings at 3. Finished in the top 4 in 11 out of 12 starts.
And from here on in, it's just a matter of how far. Papa Cap, an easy winner of the best pal.
Papa Cap, standing at Walmack.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our Saturday coverage. Halloween right around the corner, which is the first of the 2-day Breeders' Cup Championships out at Del Mar. Program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Go to americasbestracing.net today. Sterling Silver in the Iroquois. Mott, Alvarado. Team Sovereignty. The date in the Classic. Get a win here in the Iroquois with a 6-year-old mare who wins for the 10th time in her career.
Yeah. Nice horse. One of the fun things about these kind of days, and, the Maryland Million, whether it's California, any of them, is you see a lot of horses like this, right? The horses you've been seeing run for years, you're seeing them run effectively for years, and they're kind of like the old friends getting together. Because all of these horses, Sunday Girl, Stonewall Star, My Main Squeeze, Sterling Silver, these are good horses that have run well for a long time.
And she's proves here she's still got some finish in her.
Yep. She's a nice horse getting it done. And I'm happy to see her win. She's one of my favorites.
8-6-3. Pick 3 over $200. With the Ticonderoga to come on the turf at 1 1/16. Fillies and mares 3 and up. And a competitive group in this spot. Awesome check, though, in very sharp form. For Horacio de Paz, Ricardo Santana Jr. opens as the 2-1 favorite in here. And we will also see both of these two with contenders tackling that one coming up here. Both the Abreu brothers, Jorge and Fernando, they came up under incredibly successful barns. Jorge spent years as an assistant to 5-time champion trainer Chad Brown, while Fernando learned under the master, the chief, Alan Jerkins. Today, those lessons learned are paying off, with both thriving on the most competitive circuit in the game.
So Jorge and Fernando, really happy to have you guys sitting down here. Two brothers, two trainers. Jorge, let's start with you. You've had multiple Grade 1 winner in Scottish Lassie. Can you explain just what she means to you and what she's done for the stable?
Well, she means everything for me right now. It's very important for this business because you're only as good as your horse and as good as your last race. And by this filly winning of Grade 1 in Saratoga, it was great and opened a lot of doors to me.
And Fernando, I mean, we've seen you really make a splash coming up here to New York.
He pushed me to come to New York because I had Paddock Pop, and you know, which was behind me, big claiming owner. Fortunately, everything started rolling, and I got a very different stable than George. You know, I don't have that luxury of 2-year-olds yet. You know, they probably consider us a stake trainer and a claiming trainer. You know. When you're gonna go down to Sherrow, and I won't have the claimant 32, I'll have a Scottish Lassie. That's the whole thing that drives me to wake up in the morning.
Plus, we have a different method. He likes to run horses quick. It haven't worked for me. I like that 5 weeks, 6 weeks in between races.
But when you're in the claiming game, I think certain spots you gotta put them in. Certain horses you don't wanna do too much. 2-year-olds, you come back 14 days, 15 days on work. I don't like to work the horses too much because you know, anything could happen in the morning and they don't make no money in the stalls. So as a claiming guy, you have to go out there and try to perform for your owners.
How is it kind of competing on the same circuit?
I like when I beat them.
Very, very competitive. Yeah, we go at it. We talk a lot of crap at home and stuff like that, especially if we got in the same race. Unfortunately, he got the upper hand on me now. But
you're coming for him.
Yes, and in the claiming game, I don't think he's as sharp as I am. But you know, he's.
Well, that's not my forte anyway.
Who do you think, if you have two horses, one for each of you in the race, who's going to be the worst loser?
If I like my horse, I'm a terrible loser. He could tell you at any level. I live with him, and he had to listen to me like all night long. I don't stop.
You have to hear it.
Yes, he's horrible. Horrible when it comes to
I'm a terrible loser. If I like my horse, if I get beat by somebody that I don't think it should beat me in the race, that's my day right there.
I hate losing too, but I take it a little different. I don't complain as much as him. I stay in my room and just don't come out when he does.
I think there's a deep respect, I think, that you have for one another, right?
Oh, we do.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. Like, I don't know who's his #1 fan besides me. I always root for him, especially on those big races. And forget his Scottish Lassie, I want him to do the Derby. You know, he's in that level right now where he could go on and some owners could see him because he does great with 2-year-olds. You know, I'll sit back and watch. It's like me winning the Derby, watching him do it.
Moon Age Daydream for Jorge Abreu in this race coming up. Brother Fernando with Can't Fool Me. Long Shot, the 2 coming up.
She's 29-1, Can't Fool Me. She can get a piece of this race. She's okay. She drew well.
And you heard them talk about sort of an enigma, this filly who was so good as a 2-year-old. Her Frizette, probably the best 2-year-old filly performance we saw last year. Coaching Club of American Oaks, she was sensational at Saratoga. But then in between and after, not the same filly.
She's run maybe the best 2 races of this division for 3-year-olds. As you mentioned, the Frizette and the Coaching Club, but she has no consistency at all. I was even talking to Joel Rosario about her race in the Cotillion, and I said, Joel, I thought you were a cinch at the 8th ball. And he said, I thought I was going to win too. And she just had no finish in there. Listen, if she can find her good race, she has a chance to get a big piece of this Breeders' Cup, but how can you trust her?
Hard to trust. Maybe she didn't like going to Parks, that surface.
Maybe.
We'll see.
That's the convenient excuse. That's what trainers love about going to Parks. They could always tell the owner she didn't like the surface. They used to know at Tampa, right? That was always the Tampa thing. Cuppy
massive
track.
talent, though, it's in there somewhere.
No question about it. No question about it.
And it's a race that became... the Rating Horse of the Year is out. It's wide open now?
Well, it's Seismic Beauty. I don't know how wide open it is. I mean, I know she hasn't run in a while, but she's pretty good. Sheets don't like her as much, right?
They do not.
Okay,
it's
we'll
not
see.
the kind of big standout that it seems on Buyer speed figures.
See, Copian's running against the boys at 6 furlongs.
Yeah, and the sprint.
I guess he must think Tamara is going to win the filly and mare sprint.
Surprising
that
move.
works out.
There's Jorge Abreu. He'll have Scottish Lassie in the distaff, and he'll have a major player in this race who won it last year, Moon Age Daydream. The 5, Manny Franco aboard, third off the bench this afternoon, and another shot against one she knows well, an Awesome Check. Stay with us. Ticonderoga's next.
They come on for the finish in the Pilgrim Stakes. Annapolis by a head.
It is Annapolis in front. It is Annapolis to win the Coolmore Turf Mile.
Moon Age Daydream is trying to split rivals, is doing just that. It's now 3-4 across the course with Stonewall Star in there, but here comes Moon Age Daydream. Moon Age Daydream to the outside in the 3-path. Moon Age Daydream wins the Ticonderoga.
Jorge Abreu's 5-year-old mare looking to go back-to-back in this race. This was part of a 3 stakes race win streak.
Yeah, she's won 3 of the 4 New York bred races over the last year or so, and Giotto being the one she won it before. I like her least of the 3 in there. I think Spinning Colors could take a lot of beating down the inside, but Awesome Check is probably the one she has to beat, though. 9-5 seems a little short.
You look at this board, would you say, and it's with good reason, the way he's going? Gallant Greta the 7, taking a lot of money, no?
Yeah, she should be 15-1 in this race. This is absolutely ridiculous. Why is she so much better than Brock Nardini? Why is she better than the horse who beat her? Can't fool me, who's 32-1.
Yeah. That's how good the barn's going right now.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe.
I guess.
13 minutes away from this Ticonderoga. Let's head downstairs. Back with us, Acacia Clement.
And we'll pick up where you guys left off in the conversation with Moon Age Daydream. Now, I was not in the paddock for either of her 2 races off of the layoff, so can't really compare. But I remember being on the set last time out and thinking that she did look fitter second time off the bench, but she's a horse that I thought last year had really improved noticeably in the summer and into the second half of that season, particularly in the fall, and that's when she went on that tear. I think that she was a horse that had really taken a step forward, and I guess she's still now needing to prove that she has taken a step forward again, or at least been able to continue on with that form. I think she looks sensational here, getting back in against New York breds. 2 starts back in the Yaddo where Awesome Check beat her. Thought that she did run well in her first race off of a significant layoff. And then last time out in the Athenia, she was in a stalking spot and she just didn't really kick on against open company. So I think she's going back to the proper spot. She's best when she can be forwardly placed and use her natural speed. Like I said, I thought that last year she had improved a lot. I think she looks excellent today. So I think positive signs for what we might see for Moon Age Daydream, now making the 3rd start of her form cycle. The number 4, Awesome Check, she did win that Yaddo over Moon Age Daydream and Spinning Colors in here, and she's been in good form all throughout. She actually ran pretty well in the Athenia last time out, going 1 mile and 1/8, which some others in here may not necessarily prefer the distance. I think that she's been able to handle it just fine. Now, she is the type of horse, and we've talked about this, you'll see Horacio's horses at this time of year, their coats starting to get long. And while I did see that from Awesome Check last year, her weight also dropped off at the end of the year last year. That's not the case this year. She's held her weight remarkably well. So while she's getting wispy, that's to be expected. But one thing I am very pleased by is how she's continued to hold on to her conditioning. I think that she is a horse that has really kind of found her form, able to show speed 2 starts back, and then coming from off of it last time out, just not as much kick as Whiskey Decision, who might just be a bit better and maybe a bit more effective going the 1 mile and 1/8 last time. Now, the number 1, Spinning Colors, she is a horse that has kind of stamped herself as a speed type. She runs her best races when she's able to get to the front end, and she's been able to get away with murder on the front end before too. For instance, when winning the Mount Vernon in a very slow pace, going 50-1 to the half. So it's always a dangerous weapon, especially if some others don't really fire or don't really send. Now, she too also tried the Athenia last time in kind of what was a little bit of a lull in the schedule for New York bred races, so a lot of them taking on open in there. And she's been running very well, setting the pace, been just getting run down in the Yaddo and even in the De La Rose 2 starts back, where she did run very well after setting the pace in there. She is a big burly mare, and she's another one that has continued to thrive even into the cooler months. I have a lot of respect for Spinning Colors. I think that she is as consistent as they come, and with the inside post, Dylan Davis has one job: send her to the front, and we'll see if she has any company and if she's able to take them on a merry chase like she has done before, Greg.
We just saw the man who will be aboard her, Dylan Davis, flash through our screen. We'll try and control from that inside post. And let's go back to the Yaddo. She was on the front end here, Moon Age Daydream, Awesome Check behind her.
It's a very interesting race because all 3 of the first 3 finishers, and Brock Nardini for that matter, who did not run well, were pretty much on the rail for most of the running of the race. And while the second and third finish had to move off in the stretch, they still spent 80% of the race on the rail. The rails have been down to 0, and the inside was a big advantage. Now, the rails are down in the outer turf course today for the first time in a long time. And I will say, though I'm not saying there's a big bias, we've only run one race on it so far. It was the sprint. And if you look at that race, the horses that ran 1, 2, 3 spent almost the entire race on the rail. So we may have a bit of a bias again today. And I don't know if it's going to necessarily negatively affect the 4 and 5, but I know it's supposed to help the 1. Because she's got the rail, she is the controlling speed in here, and she only has one way to go. So I do think it's possible that not only does she have a chance, regardless of turf condition, the turf might give her even an extra advantage.
Well, that race we showed you was Awesome Check, Moon Age Daydream. They ran 1-2 to run her down. We'll see if that speed can last a little longer this afternoon, but it's Awesome Check who got that win, who was favored here in the rematch. 9-5 right now for Horacio to pause with Ricardo Santana Jr. We'll see the speedy spinning colors to kick off this post parade for the Ticonderoga. Here she is.
Fort Ticonderoga, north of Saratoga, Lake Champlain. A big battle there.
5-time winner on the turf. Drops out of an open company stake.
She's the one that got to catch. Whether she's the horse to beat is up to deliberation, but she is the one to catch.
Fernando Abreu. You saw the feature on the brothers with the long shot Can't Fool Me.
This horse has a handful of races that give her a chance to get a piece, and she's 30-1.
Yeah, racing colors, bigger price.
Yeah, she's more of a dirt horse.
Awesome check. She's in fantastic form.
I agree with what Acacia said. I think she ran well last time out, and I do think she's probably the horse to beat.
Moon Age Daydream, again, 3-race stake win streak last summer.
Did not like her trip and did not like her performance, the Athenia, and that concerns me a little bit, but obviously she's run good races.
Bobby Amsgrove, that was a big performance on the turf last start.
Big upset last time. We'll see if she can take another step forward.
Mike Maker Barn, Gallant Greta.
Absolutely ridiculous that she's 4-1 in this race. Her win, while she had trouble in there, she also had a lot of good things happen, and it doesn't give her a chance in this race.
Golden Rocket, Jamie Ness comes in from out of town.
She could be somewhat forward here.
And Brock Nardini outside. George Weaver, Jose Lezcano.
I know Jonathan likes her. She's a big price if you like her better. I just didn't see it.
7 minutes to post in the Ticonderoga. Get a $15 bonus when you bet $75 each on Belmont at the Big 8 and Keeneland today. Got to opt in to take advantage at NyraBets.com. So this huge long shot for one of the Abreu brothers here.
Why is this horse this price? I mean, I'm saying that she's a likely winner, but I don't think she's...
Shouldn't be 28-1.
I mean, she's
You're
a
right.
bigger price than Golden Rocket. What race does Golden Rocket have that gives her a legitimate chance in this race? She's twice the price of the 6 and 3 times the price of the 6 in this race. Really? I mean, she beat a horse who's 9-2. 2 races back. It makes no sense to me.
I don't think Golden Rocket should be that number either. You're right, though. This is way too big a number.
It's too big a price, and this horse is way too big an underlay. Here's Gallant Greta. She got a perfect trip. She stayed inside. She made the lead top of the stretch. Now, to be fair, I also think, was Manny aboard the 2 in this race? Hang on, I'm trying to... Manny was aboard. I thought Manny gave her an exceptional ride to win, and the 3rd horse got a terrible ride. Having said that, she still ran down Gallant Greta, who looked to have the race won. She draws better than Gallant Greta, and she's 6 times her price. I'm not saying I think she's going to hit the board necessarily. I just think that she's an overlay, and if you throw horses like her in your supers and 3rd and 4th, I think over time it can help you if you do the right thing. Gallant
5 minutes to post. She was, by the way, Gallant Greta in that race. She was a 3-5 favorite and got run down. Let's go back to Acacia.
Yeah, Greg, and I think you brought up the right point that with the way the Mike Maker barn is going right now, I think betting public may be kind of defaulting to just anything that he is running, and I can understand that. From my vantage point, there is nothing I can recommend in the face of this field about Gallant Greta. I felt like she looked far better this summer than she does now. It seems her weight and coat has kind of dropped off, that she was maybe just not doing as well as she was earlier in the year. And also sometimes just in the face of the competition that they face, horses may look a little bit better or not. And she's facing some really nice fillies and mares in here, and just in comparison to what she's up against, I think she really is going to be up against it. And she was beaten by Can't Fool Me that day, and I thought Can't Fool Me ran very well. I'm with Andy. She is way too big a price. Now, the number 9, Brock Nardini, I thought that from Jonathan Kinchin's points about why she could potentially be an intriguing one at a price did make some sense, because last time out, Immensitude wired the field, and she was facing some really tough competition in that open allowance race. She did not run well in the Yaddo, but she was far back and maybe never really did get the right kind of trip. She is a big, tall, leggy type of filly, and I think it's taken a little bit of time to kind of come into herself. And even though she did win first time out, just putting it all together physically and mentally as well. I think that she is one that was incredibly sharp and energetic coming back in Saratoga, and then maybe going right into the Yado kind of shook her up a little bit. She looks great in comparison to what she's facing in here today. She has strengthened a lot now off of a little bit of that freshening too. And then coming back, I thought, again, being far off of it in a field where a really talented horse was wiring the company in there, I thought with an outside post, given her size and given how long it takes her to get into stride, she could be one at a bit of a price to maybe grab a share in here.
13-1.
I think she's a 30-1 shot, personally. If you like her, you should bet her. But, see, I don't agree. I thought she had very good position in the auto. She was right stacked up behind the others and just about a little more than a length behind the winner in the backstretch. She stayed a little behind horse in the first turn because they were slowing it up on the first turn, but it wasn't anything that bothered her. I mean, she just didn't do any running. And today, she's going to be strung up outside. It's hard to imagine her getting a winning trip in here. Like I said, you like her 13-1 better, but I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
It seems like a lot more intriguing possibilities in here.
I would take 2-1 that the 2 finishes ahead of her. If somebody offered me that prop bet, and one's 34-1 and one's 13, I'm going to take 8-5 on that.
So you really don't like her?
I don't. I think Can't Fool Me is not the worst long shot in this race. She is better in her last race.
Got to look at Ricardo Santana Jr. a moment ago. Awesome Check, still your favorite at 7-5. In the silks of Barry Schwartz.
She's a little overbet at 7-5. I don't think there is that big a difference between the 1, 4, and 5, and the 1 is a tactical advantage. I don't have a problem. I think Ozcheck probably is the horse to beat. I toyed with putting her on top. I decided to put the 1 on top because the rails came down, and I thought it might give her a little bit of an advantage. And I didn't realize she'd be this much of a better price. I'm glad I did win or lose. I don't want the 4 as my top choice at 6-5 in here. I do not believe. What about her says she's 6-5 against this field?
That is incredibly short.
Just, it seems as though favorites are getting bet. She just went to 7-5, as though they just almost can't lose, and there's no price that's too low. And that's not true. Yes, we've seen some win today. We also saw My Main Squeeze not win as a heavy, heavy favorite.
So we'll see what happens here coming up. Ticonderoga mile in a 16th. Fillies mares 3 and up. And again, the rematch of the top 3 from the Yado this summer. Awesome Check 1 and Moon Age Daydream, Spinning Colors, Spinning Colors cutting back in distance a little bit from that Athenia when she was just behind Awesome Check from 1 mile and an 1/8 to 1 mile and a 16th. And now she draws perfect to take advantage of her speed.
I agree. I mean, I think that 1 mile and 1/8 too far. She had Edict sort of, on top of her, who's a better horse. I think this is a much better spot for her than the last time. We'll see.
Dylan Davis, who'd been on her before, won on her before. He'll take over for John Velasquez here. And obviously, we all know the game plan here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, assuming she breaks, she's going to the front. And Dylan should make sure to take no prisoners in here and go. I mean, I'm not saying he has to go blazing out there, but he needs to take advantage of the post and her speed in this race. And I don't see why he shouldn't. I think he's riding extremely well today.
Meanwhile, we'll see
George Briggs notwithstanding. Sorry.
All that money's right on Awesome Check. Yes, 7-5 when I'm with you. It does not seem like there's a ton of disparity or difference in ability with the 1, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
But the board says differently.
Maybe they'll be right, but I just, listen, she can win. And also, just because a horse wins doesn't mean it was not an underlay. Just because a horse loses doesn't mean the horse wasn't value. It can't be too result-oriented. Results matter, but you have to be careful with thinking just because a horse wins, whatever price they were is legit. That's not true. It's not true.
Got to take a look at how the race played out.
Yep.
No question. There's the favorite, Ricardo Santana Jr. for Horacio De Paz. Awesome Check. The one to beat here in this Ticonderoga. Chris Griffin, the call.
Golden Rocket. Awesome Check. Brock Nardini. Last low to the outside. Brock Nardini goes in. All set for the Ticonderoga. Unsettled Can't Fool Me. they're off. Awesome Check has asked for speed. Golden Rocket towards the outside is in the early mix too. Spinning Colors wants to join them towards the inside. They're well apart as they move towards that first turn. Spinning Colors, Dylan Davis, they get to the front and they're up by a neck. Golden Rocket is engaged towards the outside, will now be a close-up second with Awesome Check taken back, is going to save ground in third. 2 in front of Moonage Daydream, who's now in the 4th position, just moving right along. Is 4 lengths in front of Racing Colors, who's now a half length in front of Gallant Greta. Another 2.5 back to Brock Nardini, and towards the back end of the field. Bobby M's Girl with Can't Fool Me. Well spread out here as they work up the backstretch, 24 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. Spinning Colors in front. Golden Rocket right there in second. Awesome Check saving all the ground in third. Starts to move forward with less than a half mile to go. Moonage Daydream is towards the outside of them. Here in 4th, they are now 4 in front of Gallant Greta, who starts to rally on from the back in Racing Colors. Brock Nardini is following them. Bobby M's Girl is going around rivals now too, and Can't Fool Me is the trailer. 47 and 4 for a half mile time. Spinning Colors still there. Here comes Moonage Daydream, 3 wide coming after Golden Rocket. Gallant Greta now emerges on the scene, is in 5th. Nowhere to go yet. Awesome Check. Centena looking for a way through. They reach for the top of the lane, and here is Golden Rocket who sprints for home. Awesome Check gets a dream run, and there's the split. And here comes Awesome Check to now burst on through. Awesome Check has taken the lead. Gallant Greta, though, in full pursuit is lifting too. Awesome Check is in front. Gallant Greta trying to run him down. Awesome Check a half length in front. Gallant Greta towards the outside. Give it to Awesome Check to win the Ticonderoga. Gallant Greta was second, then Moonage Daydream and Golden Rocket in 1 minute 41.41 seconds.
7-5 favorite with the win. Horacio De Paz, Ricardo Santana Jr., silks of Barry Schwartz.
Ricardo got great position. He left. He did what Richie talks about, getting your position going forward, enabled to get that perfect tuck. Split horses, saved all the ground. When the one backed up, she was dreadful. She got through, and boy, I was wrong about Gallant Greta. She ran super today. She was better than the winner. She honestly, she had a good trip, but the winner had a better trip than she did. These maker horses are running. There's no question about it, and this horse got the right trip in here for Horacio.
One more look into the stretch. And splitting horses right now, your eventual winner. To the outside, the 7, Gallant Greta, who gives chase.
Gallant Greta might have run the best race here. She deserved the money that she took, the way she ran. She ran very well. I wish she had won for my friend Jordan Wyckoff. We should probably watch the start again, because even though beating a couple of lengths, Moonage Daydream did not have a good start.
4-7, 5-8 finish. Let's take a look at that start. Here we go. Ooh, 5 to her nose out of the gate.
Yeah, that's not a good stumble. And also, by stumbling, it allowed the 4 to get such better position than she did. Now, to be fair, after that, I think Manny did a super job of getting her in a good position after that. But I'm not saying she would have won, but that certainly compromised her chances.
2 today for Santana. One more look.
Santana just did everything right that you can do on a horse to win this race. And, I don't believe that Joel did anything wrong in Gallant Greta. I just think the winner had a slightly better trip. I think Gallant Greta had a good trip, but the winner's trip was, I don't think you could get a better trip than the winner got, can you?
It's pretty delicious.
Yeah, that's just, it's getting routine with Ricardo, isn't it? Turf, dirt, doesn't matter.
So reliable.
The guy is in the right spot, race after race after race. The way he's riding, I don't think anybody's riding better than he is.
Yeah.
And we've seen him ride well in the past. He's got so much confidence. He's just doing every little thing right.
We saw it this summer too. Best Saratoga he's ever had.
Tremendous meet up there. And I'll tell you something. You're talking about a guy who, when things were sort of falling apart with him, Steve, what was that, 2 years ago? He was kind of nowhere. A talented rider whose career was in serious flux with a lot of other really good riders, and coming here and hooking up with PJ Campo has absolutely turned things around. Listen, PJ can only get him on the horses. Ricardo's riding him, and he's riding him incredibly well.
You would expect that, though. He put all his eggs in one basket with one trainer for a long time, and it worked out when it worked out. But then you lose that relationship. It's going to take time to rebuild.
Oh, no question about it. Right. You're absolutely right. And getting PJ was exactly the right guy at the right time, and Ricardo has responded by riding well.
7-5 here. Awesome Check with the win in the Ticonderoga 2-win day for Ricardo Santana Jr. We'll have the prices from Awesome Check's victory when we come back.
Say hello to Move. It's a one-horse race, very professional and very fast. Move, rolling home by 4 in fine style.
Muth, the son of good magic, coming down the stretch in Hot Springs to win it.
The world's premier breeding stock event, the November sale at Fasig-Tipton. The precocious Brightwork won her first 4 starts at 2 in a powerful campaign. A debut winner at Keeneland over future Royal Ascot star Crimson Advocate. She then won the Debutante Stakes at Ellis Park. From there, she captured the Grade 3 Adirondack by 5 lengths. In her next start, she conquered the Grade 1 Spinaway, defeating Grade 1 winner Ways and Means.
Brightwork is a superstar.
At age 3, she won the Grade 3 Prioress over graded winner 2 Sharp and 5 other stakes winners. She has earned nearly $700,000 for owner WSS Racing and trainer John Ortiz. This daughter of Outwork is a half-sister to recent graded stakes performer Justice Fancy. She hails from the female family of Grade 1 winner and exceptional young sire Gervin, as well as classic placed Midnight Bourbon. Grade 1 winner Brightwork, selling this November with Hill and Dale at Alapa, agent.
$1,600,000, $1,600,000 out of it, $1,600,000 out of it, now $650,000, $1,650,000, $1,650,000 out of anybody else $650,000 out of it today, $1,650,000 out of that, $1,600,000, thank you.
Back with you on Empire Showcase Day here on America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you where you can play all the action at Naira Bets, bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Awesome Check. Holding off a good effort from Gallant Greta to get the victory here. And now 3 wins in the last 4 starts for this 4-year-old filly. 2-win day, Ricardo Santana Jr. Let's go downstairs to Acacia.
2-win day for Horacio De Paz as well, who said he gave an interview to Maggie, so it's only fair to give one to me as well, Horacio. But Awesome Check, she's been pretty awesome, and she's really seemed to hold herself really well towards the end of this year, even better than she did last year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's more mature, and Santana knows her very well. And I mean, she's just been an awesome mare. To be consistent all throughout the year, it's not the easiest. So she'll get a good little vacation for her right now. So it's well deserved.
Certainly is well-deserved, and a good day for the barn with some good results in New York breds that I know mean a lot to you, being able to have a day like this for New York breds to have their day in the spotlight.
Yeah, definitely. Being based here in New York, and Barry Shorts is the person who brought me to New York, and we got to develop all these horses as 2-year-olds because we had them all, and they all came today and competed, and even Stonewall Star off the layoff. I mean, how gutsy was that? I mean, that was great.
And Barry, somebody that's done so much for the New York bred program as well, received an honor this year. I mean, what does that relationship mean to you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, he's a great man to work for, and these horses were developed at his farm, and he does a good job breeding them and raising them, and Peter, who's out there as well, does a good job.
You're doing a good job training them. Congratulations on another win here.
Thank you.
Greg?
It's the mustache. It's the mustache, by the way. It's not Horacio. It's the stash.
Got that mojo going with the stash, looking sharp.
Getting a little tired of seeing that Najee Thompson guy in the winner's circle, though. Seriously. My office in the winner's circle. It's a great
Always
man.
good to have Naj out of the racetrack. Awesome Check. 6 wins now in 18 starts, but 6 for 15 on the lawn. And even recently when she's not won, she's still run a race.
Yeah, she's really gotten good and consistent, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Horacio is one of the good young trainers in the game. I have no problem giving him a horse if I had any money and I could own a horse. If I could just borrow some from you, Greg.
We'll see what I can.
Well, you hit those pick 5s like they're like giving away money.
Empire Classic, here we go. Mile and an eighth, 2 turns, $250,000. What? 1 to 9. Although the tote board here says even money.
No, it's even money. Even money. We should stop with the first flash, and there's $27 in there.
Yes. Even money. Bank Frenzy. Who is the horse to beat? 9 wins from 19 starts.
Not favored the Grand Slam. I'm gonna look at some doubles and pick threes to take a good look at the pick three.
Iron Dome improving 3-year-old. Dr. Kraft coming back in 7 days, but races to go back to. Duck Sullivan has run big at a mile and an eighth before.
Yeah, I like Doc Sullivan and Bank Frenzy.
Okay.
I'm against Iron Dome.
Yeah, Doc Sullivan, a couple of huge performances, been coming out of a grade 3 last time out, but stretching back out in distance. Let's talk about some of these New York breds and what they're going to do on the big stage championship weekend. Iron Orchard, undefeated filly for Danny Gargan, who not just undefeated and a grade 1 winner, but the way she was able to do it, showing she's not a one-dimensional type.
I agree, and that's a real feather in her cap to show that she has speed, but she doesn't need a lead to win. And while she probably wouldn't be my top choice in this race, she's a massive contender in here. You look at the field, and she absolutely belongs. Sold her for $2.5 million after this race, and paid $500, won about $500,000, then sold her for $2.5. That works, right? The math works there.
There's a lot of money at the Katie Rich Farms. So Iron Orchard, I don't know if, and there's not really someone to beat in this race, is there?
No, probably the Baffert horse that won whatever the prep is now named out in California, but there's nobody in there that you go, well, this is the...
Laura, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I've got my peepees downstairs, sorry. But there's 2 Bafferts. The one that won the last race, Explorer, exactly. That's the horse you mentioned. But I don't think she's a immense favorite. She's got a little bit of a home court advantage, though.
How about this New York bred who beat New York Bred Company this summer, Saratoga, then wins a grade 1 at Keeneland?
We knew she was good when she broke her maiden as impressively as she did last summer in Saratoga, and he's just gotten better and better, and he's a contender in the mile. I don't think the Euros, Notable Speech is good, but he's not that good. I don't think there's any huge horses in this race that he has to worry about. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he's absolutely a real contender.
Be fun to see. Yeah, this is a good group, but obviously what Euros will come. What you talking about, meanwhile? In the sprint for Wesley Ward.
Got to get enough the AEs.
Yeah.
Whether he does or not, and you never know with Wesley what he's going to do. He's got that one big race. Otherwise, he's just not good enough to win it here. I'd be surprised if Wesley's really going to go here, but maybe they want to go.
So we'll see if any of these New York breds can step up on the big stage with championship weekend coming up next Friday and Saturday. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see. I mean, all of them. Interesting storylines, but Iron Orchard, I think, is really coming into the race the right way.
I agree, and I think a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's 2 turns. I don't know, she's passed every test so far. I think the 2-turn thing gets more is made of it than should be. 2 turns shouldn't be a problem for a horse like her that has enough speed to put herself in position. The reason that 2 turns and 1 turn, I believe, can be much different is if you're a deeper closer. Because a 2-turn race rates to have a slower pace, where the 1-turn miles, they're going to get a faster pace by nature with the long run down the backstretch. So I don't believe that Iron Orchard is supposed to be compromised by that. And we saw in the Verzette that distance didn't seem to be a big problem. She's got to go a 16th a mile farther. Once again, I'm not saying I'm picking her or like her, but I don't see why she can't win this race.
No question. Wide open group, especially with what happened at Keeneland and the Alcibiades.
Right. I think it was very disappointing. I know Tommy Joe was placed first, but I don't know that she was going to win. I don't think so.
Empire Classic, when we come back, 6-5 favorite, Bank Frenzy, multiple stakes winner in open company, trying to beat New York breds once again for Rudy Rodriguez with Manny Franco. The Classic when we come back.
Keeneland November is where futures take root and legacies pass from one hand to the next. In the ring, excitement builds. A glance, a nod, a bid. History changes in an instant, and the impact lasts a lifetime. The market is here. The global stage is here. Your moment is here. Keeneland, November.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, as today is all about the New York race. You can check out nybreds.com for more information, as it's time for the big one, the Empire Classic coming up with some very tough and likable New York breds in this field coming up. And we'll begin with the number 5, Bank Frenzy, who stretches back out to a mile and an eighth today, and he is convincing at the distance. He did win at the 2-turn 9 furlongs in the Commentator 2 starts back. He finished second in the Empire Classic when wired by Mama's Goal last year. And I think last time, while he has run well at the 1-turn mile, the 7 furlongs or shorter, just not really his game. That John Morrissey kind of combining longer and sprint type of horses. And Bank Frenzy was drawn to the rail. He wears that extension blinker covering his right eye that he has worn since basically the beginning of his career, because he does have the tendency to drift sometimes. He's also not the quickest out of the gate. So not being able to see his company to his outside, going a bit shorter where you have some fast horses in his run off his field and drawn the rail, he just was completely squeezed and shuffled back and never really looked comfortable throughout the running of that race. I think with a better draw for him, stretching out, we're going to see one of his better performances today. And he looks tremendous, given a little bit of time since that John Morrissey. Great coat, super energy on him as well. And a horse that I think, like I said, we're going to see one of his best performances here. The number 1, Doc Sullivan, is stretching out after running very well against Open Graded Stakes Company, finishing 4th in both the Forgo and the Vosburg. He is one I do prefer a shorter distance, going the 7/8 in particular, because he's a really high energy horse. He came in with a training saddle already a bit washed out, saddled on the walk. All of that is very normal for him. But that being said, he has actually been able to handle a mile and an eighth before, despite his aggressive, energetic demeanor, finishing second in the Albany last year as a 3-year-old. So I think he's a talented horse. I think he's in very good form right now. While it's not my preferred distance for him, I certainly would not count him out. And I think that John Ortiz has done a really good job with kind of channeling that energy, and he certainly has not disgraced himself against tougher competition. Now the number 2, Iron Dome, he is shown to be proficient at the distance, but he is kind of the up-and-coming 3-year-old as he has to face some hardened veterans in here. He ran well in the Oklahoma Derby last time out. Bracket Buster was much the best in that spot and was the favorite. third place finisher, did come back to win a state bred stake with a 94 Beyer speed figure in his subsequent start. I thought Iron Dome ran fine, kind of in a stalking spot in there. He did have a pretty heavy workload in Saratoga this summer, coming back on just a 2-week rest to win the Albany. But there really wasn't much behind him. Hit the Post is shown to be a little bit more proficient going shorter. Train the Trainer, who was kind of the other horse scratched out of there. So for me, while I do have the utmost respect for this horse and his pedigree, being the half-brother to the venerable Mr. Buff, he's one that I think we're going to need to see take a step forward and show that he can handle these tough older horses. I will say physically here in the paddock, he does stack up quite nicely against his talented competition, Greg.
Thank you, Acacia. We'll get to the post parade in a moment. This improving 3-year-old, interesting story, the 2 Iron Dome, but this is the horse that really everyone's got to beat. Bank Frenzy, 3-2 favorite, over 700,000 in earnings. Let's go back to the commentator. The last time he went a mile and an eighth.
He had a run down Mama's Gold, who had beaten him in this race last year. He's just gotten professional. He can put himself in the game, and I don't think there's anything not to like about him. I agree with the public who made him favored right now. It'll be interesting to see who is favored. A little bit ambiguous looking at the multi-race bets, what's going to happen, but who's favored? I think he should be favored, and I'm starting to feel like you agree with me on that.
I do. He is very good at this distance as well. And it looks like he is coming in sharp. He's going to be a load to handle. Wow, 8, that's a lot of money on Iron Dome, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he has been running well. He's got big margin victories. The public likes that. And listen, he can win.
He's
I
talented.
just prefer other horses. He's pretty good, though.
He's one of 2 brothers to Mr. Buff in this race, who was a very good, big guy, New York bred. Quick to accuse is as well in this race. You can play all the action there at NyraBets.com. Get signed up and started. Cup 25, that code to use for your promotions. As we get set for the post parade for the Empire Classic. Here is Doc Sullivan, runner-up at a mile and an eighth in the Albany last year.
I'd like to see Joel use his speed, go to the front, wire the field.
Iron Dome, he won this year's Albany going away at Saratoga.
And listen, he is a dangerous horse, and he too can be a bit forward.
Dr. Kraft, he is talented. He's coming back in just 7 days.
He is, and he's got to run his best race ever to beat these. And I like him, and he's gotten good at 2 turns. I just think this is a very, very tall task for him.
This horse has some very big races, quick to accuse. Can he win at a mile and an eighth?
I mean, he's a huge price. He's a horse who's run some good races. I wouldn't discount him as a possibility here.
Favorite went by at 8-5.
Yeah, he's consistent. He's good. He handles the distance. He's the one to beat.
And then the biggest price on the board here is Whittington Park.
Yeah, he got a very good pace, too, back when he won. It just doesn't seem like it's the same situation here. He comes back in a week as well.
Doc Sullivan. 10 times he's been first or second in 17 career starts. Joel Rosario knows him well. He's back aboard. Horse comes out of a grade 3 in his most recent performance. Let's go to Acacia.
And with his trainer, John Ortiz, as Doc Sullivan, he's been keeping some really good company recently, Johnny, and he's been running well against those tough fields.
Yeah, no, he has. When he came back, back in Saratoga, he showed a lot of determination down the stretch. He's just been really fun to have in the barn, and I think he's been improving with each start.
I know he's a handful before the race. That's always how he's been. How do you kind of channel that energy to get the 2 turns today?
Today what I saw was exactly what I want to see. He's always very on his toes, very hot and sweaty. Today he came in the same way. He knows the game, but the less we do with him in the paddock, let him be himself, and he calmed down a lot after we put the saddle on. So I'm feeling very optimistic about his performance.
And he's a New York bred going back into state bred company. Do you think that's going to be a difference maker for him as well?
Yeah, absolutely. When you can play with your cousins, you always go play with your cousins. This horse should stretch out really well. I mean, he's had some pretty good races in the past where he stretched out and just got beat there. Now with his cousins, I think he's going to do well.
I like that with his cousins. Good luck. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Greg.
Doc Sullivan. 539,000 in earnings, and even though it hasn't gone a mile and an eighth in a while, when he has run a mile and an eighth, particularly that Albany last year, he was very effective at it.
I think there's also an argument that he just didn't get his preferred trip in there. because of the presence of Pandegate, who frankly was just better than he was back then. And Pandegate was very, very good. So it's not like he embarrassed himself finishing second. This is his second place finish 3 races back, his win in the Morrissey, where he ran down Wine Stewart, who was very impressive, winning the Hudson earlier today. He was determined there, and then he just took on a lot of tough company. I disagree with Andy Beyer, who cut the figure on the Vosburg, and I believe on the Forgo as well. I think that Vosburg figure is too low. I think he ran more closer to a 91 than an 83. And, you look at how, I think the only horses run back out of that race was Linda Rice's horse, Light the Way, who came back and ran in the low 90s, beating Dr. Kraft just last week. So I think that argument, that race should be faster, and I think that 83 figure is not indicative of how well he ran. And the board agrees. He's now 2-1.
3 on the board at 9-5, 2-1, and 2-1. That's Doc Sullivan, Iron Dome, and Bank Frenzy. Back to Acacia.
Yeah, those kind of are the big 3. But taking a look at the number 4, Quick to Accuse, as you mentioned, Greg, he is the half-brother as well to Mr. Buff, also making him a brother to Iron Dome. So I guess they can have the, not even, as Johnny was talking about with their cousins, they're running against their family here, their siblings. But Quick to Accuse is a horse that comes in. Last time out at Delaware, he was really acting up in the gate quite a bit. And I think he kind of expended a bit of energy watching that replay back and the way that he ran and kind of being in range and then flattening out late. I think he maybe expended a bit before the race even began. 2 starts back, he did run exceptionally well. And he has some races on the go back that would make him competitive. Given the pedigree, given the way he's put together, he's very convincing at being a mile and an 1/8 type horse. He's all leg and he's prancing out there on the track, but he's not doing too much. I think it's the right balance of energy in here. He's certainly, I think, a fringe player of a horse that may be being ignored a little bit, but one that I do think fits the conditions quite well. He's clearly not as good as his little brother, Iron Dome, but one that I think could potentially grab a share in this spot, Greg.
And yeah, I just, the 2 you see 0 for 2 at a mile and 1/8. Both those efforts at a mile and 1/8, they came on wet tracks, and he has not been near as good on a wet track.
I think that's reasonably fair. I'm not going to argue with that. I agree. I think this is a very tough spot, but he is not impossible. He's 8-1. He's a distant 3rd choice. The 3 horses are roughly 2-1. I am shocked that Doc Sullivan is favored. Absolutely stunned that he's favored.
That is shocking.
I would not bet him at 9-5. I thought I'd get 7-2 or 3-1.
How is Bank Frenzy not the favorite?
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I can't bet the one at 8-5 in here. He may win, but I can't bet him at that price.
Here he is, loading up. You heard from his trainer, John Ortiz. Joel Rosario will be aboard. Very surprising. He is the one to beat on the board, and that it is not to 5 Bank Frenzy. We'll settle it here in this Empire Classic. $250,000 purse in this main event on Empire Showcase Day. Chris Griffin, the call.
Dr. Kraft. Quick to Accuse. Bank Frenzy. Whittington Park. Whittington Park goes in. All set for the Empire Classic. And they're off. Iron Dome with early speed. Right there is Dr. Kraft in the early mix 2. They're going to be the early 1-2, and Quick to Accuse wants to tuck in behind the leaders. Bank Frenzy's going to be wide. They move towards that first turn, and Iron Dome. Ricardo Santana Jr. is in front, is up by a full length. At the rail, that's Doc Sullivan, who's now going to be back to 4th. It's 3 wide. There's Bank Frenzy, and also in between them, Dr. Kraft. Quick to Accuse is well slotted right in behind the leaders, as they're very tightly packed. And the trailer, Whittington Park. They move to the backstretch, and Iron Dome is the leader. Iron Dome, 24.80 for the opening quarter mile, and Bank Frenzy is going to take it right to Iron Dome, and these 2 hook up on the backstretch. Doc Sullivan moves through nicely here at the rail, is alone in 3rd with towards the outside Dr. Kraft. Quick to Accuse is going to follow Doc Sullivan's inside run, and the trailer, Whittington Park. 49.35 for a half-mile time. And they approach a half-mile left to go. Iron Dome trying to take them all the way. Iron Dome with a neck advantage. Bank Frenzy is ready to challenge. Doc Sullivan in behind horses. Dr. Kraft, Whittington Park. Got the cue there at the half-mile pole, is making a move from the back, is trying to rally on, and the trailer is quick to accuse. Iron Dome, Bank Frenzy travels better right now. Dr. Kraft is in behind them. Doc Sullivan getting the hurry up. The closers are trying to close into the 1:13 and 4 3/4 of a mile, and Iron Dome is still there. Bank Frenzy is now challenging, and Bank Frenzy drifting out, but Bank Frenzy's in front, and there is a lane for Doc Sullivan. Here comes Doc Sullivan bearing down on Bank Frenzy. Bank Frenzy is trying to gut it out for a final 16th. Bank Frenzy and Doc Sullivan now down towards the inside. These two down to the line. It's a photo given to Bank Frenzy. Bank Frenzy wins the Empire Classic over a very game Doc Sullivan. Further back there was Whittington Park and quick to accuse in 1 minute 50 seconds flat.
Great battle down the stretch, and Bank Frenzy just up for the win for Rudy Rodriguez with Manny Franco.
And he was best because it wasn't a fast pace, but it's not like it really held together, and he was wide the whole way. Doc Sullivan saved ground the whole way. Doc Sullivan had every chance to get by him. He just couldn't get by him. This horse ran very well. He's a very, very good horse. Gutting it out and getting a win, a well-deserved win for a good horse. And Iron Dome obviously disappointed, but I thought we saw very nice performances by the first two, and a nice way to close out the stakes on Showcase Day, right?
Yeah, Whittington Park was making this huge move around the turn.
He went pretty well.
Third at 46-1. Yeah. What a stretch duel, though, between these two. The Bank Frenzy now 10 for 20 lifetime.
He just didn't want to lose because it really looked like Joel had a measure, right? It really looked like he had the momentum, was going by him, and I think he even got the lead from him. We watch right here. I'm going to say he got the lead right in there, right, Greg? I mean, it was close.
Looked like it.
And Bank Frenzy just did not want to lose. He's such a neat horse. And it's just such a nice way to close out because these are both really, really good horses, you know, and to see them battle like this, I just think it's really cool. And Bank Frenzy's a crazy price. To be the 2-to-1 third choice is nuts. I just assumed...
That is insane. He was third choice.
I picked Doc Sullivan because I was convinced he'd be the third choice at 3-to-1 or 7-to-2. And I think I was right that at a bigger price, he was kind of value here. But I mean, I never thought he'd be a shorter price than Bank Frenzy. I don't know how anyone could have thought that.
So Bank Frenzy, son of Central Banker, 10th win of his career, 20 career starts. He's 7 for 11 on this surface. He had to work to get this victory with a stubborn Doc Sullivan, but he gets it done yet again for LSU Stables.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's post time for the Whitney. The field turns for home. Fierceness is the one to catch. He has a 3-length lead. Sierra Leone down the center of the track is coming with powerful strides, and Highland Falls is in there too. But it's Sierra Leone who takes the lead from Alaska first. Highland Falls trying his best. Sierra Leone has won the Whitney.
The runners on top of the world. The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at NairaBets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championship with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
The world's premier breeding stock event, the November sale at Fasig-Tipton. A head-turning sprinter, Positano Sunset grabbed the spotlight with a powerful stretch drive to win the Grade 1 Madison over a field consisting entirely of black-type winners, while earning a 100 buyer speed figure.
Positano Sunset, the best turned out.
In September, a stakes record-setting victory in the Open Mind Stakes at Churchill drove her earnings to over $1 million. A winner from ages 2 to 5, Positano Sunset has notched multiple stakes wins for trainer Ian Wilkes and owners 6 Column Stables, Randall Block, John Seiler, and David Hall. Positano Sunset is a daughter of Golden Sense, the sire of Kentucky Derby winner Mystic Dan, out of a half-sister to Grade 3 winner Island Town. Grade 1 winner Positano Sunset, selling this November with Hill and Dale at Alapa Agent.
Beautiful skyline right there. That's our view.
A little dark, huh?
A few steps away from us. Back on America's Day at the Races. Empire Classic in the books. What a stretch duel we just saw in the main event. Bank Frenzy holding off Doc Sullivan in a thriller. Our winner's circle lead-in brought to you by the Fasig-Tipton November sale after the Breeders' Cup, November 3rd in Lexington, Kentucky. Where will you be?
And that was a heavyweight battle down the stretch with Manny and Joel duking out as well. 2 guys that are very tough to get by down the lane, and a really nice effort by both these horses. I'm surprised Joel rated, but I really don't think it hurt his chances the way things played out. He had his chance. Bank Frenzy was just best. It was close, but he was best.
And yeah, and you talked about maybe the tougher trip, especially early too. Bank Frenzy, Manny, was hard to get position early for him.
Well, I mean, he's not a horse that wants to be trying to grind it out in a slow pace. You thought there might be a little bit more pace, but I think it was a very good move by Manny. He'd rather lose a little ground than lose the position behind a slower pace. And even though the 2 ran so badly, you can't assume that to begin the race, you know? When he gets the front, Manny's got to go after him.
There's Manny Franco, more hardware on Empire Showcase Day, and it's the older horses who prove best in his Empire Classic. Bringing the prices here. Career win number 10 for this 5-year-old son of Central Banker, $6.32 for the win. 5-1-6 with that 46-1 shot coming in. Helps that trifecta a little bit. Let's go downstairs to Acacia.
And you're with Rudy Rodriguez, who actually runs 1-3, as you mentioned, Whittington Park with the late run. But Bank Frenzy, Rudy, he has just been a gem of consistency, and I think really appreciated getting to go a little bit longer today.
Kasia, that's for sure. Just very thankful that Mr. Larry and Randy give me opportunity to give him a little break. Because running against Open Company and the summer was a little hard for him, but this is what he belongs, and he showed up. I was a little concerned with Joel. I was hoping that Joel stay inside because we cover the eye. So when Joel come in, he usually dig in a lot. So when I saw Joel going inside, I said I think we're in good shape because he's a fighter. He is a fighter. So you can see when Joel come inside, look like he was gonna go by and it went on again. So just happy to have him in the barn. He's a very special horse for us, and he fights every fight. So we're just very, very happy.
He really did. Talk me through your emotions in that stretch battle because he really fought for it today.
Yeah, definitely. Doug Solomon is just very, very solid horse. We've been following Doug Solomon since we beat him with Antonio and the New York Showcase, and he just solid as they come, and he always fights. And I was just happy that Joel went inside, that's for sure.
What does he mean to you, a horse like Bank Frenzy, and being able to participate with New York breds, New York-based trainer on a day like this?
It's very special for all of us. We are New York guys, and we just trying to support everything what we can, and we just thank Randy and Larry that they give us the opportunity to train this horse.
And it was a great race for sure. A lot of fun. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Greg.
That's a big one, no doubt. It's been a very fun horse, and Rudy Rodriguez has done a great job with him.
Incredible consistency from this horse. Always shows up and runs well.
10 wins, as we mentioned, from 20 starts, 5 runner-ups as well, and well over, really on his way to $1 million in earnings at this point.
That was a really fun day of racing, too. These days, they set up their horses that we are so familiar with. You see throughout the year in the New York bred program, a huge, huge part of our program here, and a lot of good horses. We pointed out a few heading to the Breeders' Cup, and I think it closed out with an excellent race as to close out the stakes, at least.
And looking at the wrong odds for the finale. We're going to close it out on the turf at a mile.
They're all the same price. Yeah, it's
especially
because
the
Mike
10.
Maker's not odds on. That's what's surprising you. Mike Maker's got a horse near the horses.
Kaz Oil Changer, the 10, is a mild favorite right now. I don't.
He won't be by post.
New York bred Maiden Special, mile grass to close it out. Wide open betting race, maybe the best betting race in the card.
It is wide open. I picked two goofy horses, the 3 and the 10. They're big prices, or they will be bigger prices, but I'm hoping for the best.
Much more on this nightcap on Empire Showcase Day. It's been a fun one. When we come back, more coverage coming up tonight as well. Breeders' Crown Finals from Woodbine Mohawk Park. And Lou Print looking indeed for a little redemption, coming off a rare loss back on October 18th.
Why wait for fortune to be revealed when you can make your own move? Because no one ever talks about the time they played it safe. So go ahead, press your luck, tempt fate, and claim your destiny. Because once in a lifetime can happen every night. Welcome to a world that revolves around you. Your rules, your world. Resorts World.
Thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
The 2025 Global Symposium on Racing. It's the premier networking event of the year. Connect with the who's who of racing. Collaborate face-to-face with key decision makers. Be a part of the international conversation. Discover the latest technology and innovation. Join us December 8th through 10th. Register at racingsymposium.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Wrapping up Saturday action here on Empire Showcase Day here on Fox Sports 2 on America's Day at the Races with the nightcap on the grass at a mile. Get signed up at NyraBets.com and you can play this one, Breeders' Cup and beyond. Haute Couture kicks things off, was just third at the condition last start.
It's kind of a horse that kind of runs in the late stages of races and doesn't do any meaningful running, but while running well enough to win here and draws well.
Barkley tag, Katie Davis in spite of Charlie.
Yeah, I don't think it's totally impossible, but meeting tougher, I think.
Start number 2, first on turf, Dormello.
I guess with a horse who's a half to 3 turf winners who may not be able to run it at all. Case has some nice things to say. I'm still skeptical, but I picked.
Pedigree with the 4 getting on grass, too.
I wouldn't knock a very good second day on the turf. I wouldn't knock anyone trying the turf for the first time in this field.
Mike Maker, Ricardo Santana Jr. asking for a friend.
Every Mike Maker horse has been bet off the board. This one is dead in the board, not taking any money. It is the controlling speed.
Wire tried to last time and now shortens up. Astern Command went by. Here's the 7, Solo Jim.
Feels like Solo Jim probably wanted a dirt race. He's got much more pedigree for dirt, and he's okay.
Before the win, major player, 7-1.
Crazy price on this horse. Thought they had a perfect trip and no excuse to lose. They did break a little slow, but crazy price.
Long time away, Mark Cassie's New York Scrappy.
2 days short of a year and a lousy trip last time and ran well. It gets better.
And a lot of money on Kaz Oil Changer first on turf.
I mean, there's a half to 1 horse try the turf. The worst one with 70 buyers. It's kind of more dirt, but you know what? Name changers had only 2 horses try the turf. They haven't won, but he's an Uncle Mo, so there could be turf there. And it's a ridiculous price in the win end. I'm alive in the double, which is better value.
This is New York Scrappy, as you mentioned. 2 days shy of a year away, so sneaks in here under that year time off. And let's go back to October 27th, last time we saw him.
You see him sort of brakes a little slow, but you can watch that the first turn. It's almost like Jose Ortiz something was going wrong, because you're going to see him bear out badly on the first turn out of the forepath, and Jose kept him out in the middle of the track basically the whole way around the track. Right now he's in a reasonable spot. We didn't show it. Anyway, he ends up with a wide trip.
And now we'll try and win off a long time off.
Yeah, that's a concern, and at 3-1 I would let him beat me, but I think he might. I mean, I think he's got the best races of anybody in here. He's just a little hard to trust, right?
I see that name, I immediately think back to Scrappy T, who was involved in that collision with the Fleet Alex.
That's right. That's right. Old Scrappy T.
Back to the 3 and back to this Bilmont runner. So one start, came at Saratoga on the dirt, walked off, didn't finish the race, took money in that race.
A lot of money.
And now moves to the grass.
Yeah, I just decided to take it. I was looking through this race forever, and there's just absolutely nobody I really wanted to take in here. A long layoff on the 9, and so I start looking at the first-timers in the grass. And the 3, the 4, the 4 should be the speed in here, the 7, and the 10, and the 3 obviously has the standout pedigree among them. And there's a real chance this horse just cannot run at all. Case had some nice things to say about how he looked in the paddock. Maybe he'll run better if he can run to his pedigree. Now, it's also a pedigree that's good in the dirt, so it's not like no dirt and just turf, but there is a lot of turf there. Medaglia d'Oro, I mean, the pedigree is a standout in this race, but pedigree only means so much. They've still got to be able to run all or nothing, big price, live in the double. Took a shot. Not going to do a lot to endorse this horse, but good-looking horse. Just have to find out if the horse can run it all.
Let's go to Acacia.
Yeah, he might just be slow and pretty. We will find out, but like I said, did see a big change from last time to today. But talking about another horse getting onto the turf for the first time, the number 4, Island Charlie, as you guys mentioned, there's plenty of pedigree to suggest that he should move up on the grass. The second dam, May Night, was a stakes winner and multiple graded stakes placed on the grass. And while the sibling never won on the turf, did finish in the money a few times and did handle it quite well. This guy looks like a turf horse too. The one thing is that he's very wound up and been very sharp off the layoff. I do think he should be the speed. Just hasn't run since March, and typically with Michelle Nevin, you do like to see them get a start under their belt. I thought he looked very fit overall, just really doing a little bit too much when leaving the paddock. It seems that after the warm-up, though, he has settled a bit, and I'm really interested to see how he takes to the grass. Now, the number 5, Asking for a Friend, as Andy mentioned, this horse not taking as much money as some of the other Mike Maker horses have throughout this card, but this horse did go to the front last time out, had some pressure, and it really was kind of a photo for second between Before the Wind, who is being completely and I think unfairly ignored on the board. Haute Couture and Asking for a Friend was right there as well. This is a horse that I think is very much more of a turf horse, though he ran okay on dirt 2 starts back, and he's one that had a big warm-up out there. I just kind of a similar feeling of what I thought with Gallant Greta. Feel like he's kind of tapered off a little bit in his coat and in his weight. That being said, even with that thought process, he's a horse I would not leave out, especially because I think he's doing what he wants to do, and that is go a mile on the grass, Greg.
Here we go on the grass, about to load. 3-1 favorite has become a horse off the year layoff.
Well, I mean, the horse does have the best races of anybody. I mean,
really?
I'm not really looking. I think the last race was very good. I think the horse is. I wouldn't take the horse off the long layoff. Listen, I'm guessing that 2 horses trying the turf for the first time, one of them's going to show up and run well enough to beat a field that I don't have a lot of confidence in. But
and still, we talked about it earlier. 8-1 on the 8 is pretty enticing, isn't it?
I agree. I don't like the 8, but that's a crazy price on this horse. I mean, I preferred others, but I'm surprised this horse is that big a price.
Here he is for Elizabeth Merriman.
Strange race.
Second behind Mo 88 last start and finished just a neck ahead of Haute Couture, who has the rail today and is 3-1 right now.
Haute Couture is 3-1. That's a horse that I would never bet. The horse could win, I think, 3-1. If he's 3-1, I want somebody else. I'm just grasping at straws here.
Race to close things out on Empire Showcase Saturday. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
All set. And they're off. Asking for a Friend broke outward, but did break quickly, and also Island Charlie in the early mix too. Island Charlie will now press on, is up by a full length. Asking for a Friend, trying to join that leader with a 3 wide, Solo Jim. Little Keen was in spite of Charlie, and Katie Davis will now ration that speed here at the rail, is in 4th, tucked towards the inside. New York Scrappy is wide, is now in 5th, and in between horses comes Dormello, who's back to 6th. At the rail then comes Haute Couture, who's in 7th, followed by Kaz Oil Changer in 8th. From the back, cornering wide was a Stern Command, and the Triller Before the Wind. Tightly packed here as they work up the backstretch. The leader, Island Charlie, Asking for a Friend, is right there a half length back in 2nd. Moving forward, here comes New York Scrappy from 3rd. Patiently ridden in spite of Charlie, just moving right along here in 4th. And Solo Jim is in 5th. Outside comes a Stern Command. At the rail, Haute Couture, nowhere to go yet. Kaz Oil Changer, second to last, is Before the Wind, and the Trailer, Dormello. 48.57 for a half-mile time, and they work into the far turn. Island Charlie's been there throughout. Here comes Asking for a Friend, is ready to pounce, and New York Scrappy's been wide, but ready to challenge 3 wide. In behind horses, in spite of Charlie, just patiently ridden, waiting for room as they reach the top of the lane. Island Charlie kicks on, Asking for a Friend, now pounces and takes the lead. Here comes Haute Couture. Grandstand side starts to lift late. Asking for a Friend has got the lead. Haute Couture is in full pursuit. Haute Couture towards the outside of Asking for a Friend. Here comes Haute Couture, is now rolling on by Asking for a Friend, who comes right back to the inside, but Haute Couture wins it. Haute Couture won it over Asking for a Friend, then came in spite of Charlie and Before the Wind in 1 minute 36.72 seconds.
Haute Couture, Junior Alvarado, Chris Engelhardt breaks his maiden career start number 6.
Somebody had to do it, and Haute Couture was there with Junior, who's making no mistakes, making the last move. Asking for a Friend, another maker horse that ran very well. Didn't even get the lead. The pace was very honest. Held on fairly gamely, but couldn't hold off that freight train that was Haute Couture. Looks like 1.528?
I believe so.
1.528.
Yep.
I was nowhere close. Never got him. I couldn't have used this horse at 3-1. I mean, I'm not shocked he won, but 3-1. That kind of field.
4th time on the lawn. Wins it 3-1 as the co-favorite. Was a slight second choice.
I bet him 3 back. Does that count?
And that concludes. This was a really fun Empire Showcase day.
It is. It's always a great day. I love these days, and I think it's just great to have a chance to celebrate the New York Breds. And, you know, I hate it when people knock them because we're represented well in the Breeders' Cup. We've got multiple Grade 1 wins by New York Breds this year, and we really saw some excellent races in Sterling Silver, Bank Frenzy, so many good horses running today and doing their job, and some nice promising 2-year-olds as well.
That showdown stretch duel in the Empire Classic too. That was a lot of fun.
That was great, and they're good horses too. It's not they're not dressed up phony types. They're good horses, and I think we saw some night races. Our friend Ray Handel won the Empire Distaff.
Valtellina.
Excellent ride by Dylan, getting it done there. Just a lot of good stuff on today's card. An enjoyable day, a beautiful day. A lot of people in the paddock for a couple races. A lot of people out there with their horses. It was fun to see.
Day to celebrate this New York program. And it did not disappoint. Haute Couture, Chris Engelhardt, Walktel Stable, Junior Alvarado, who has quite a date in front of him next Saturday out on the west coast at Del Mar.
I think he's more excited about Sterling Silver and this horse winning than he really care about Sovereignty. He's thinking, actually, this is right around when the Classic goes off, right? It goes off pretty early out there, right?
I remember seeing him right when we got to Saratoga, you know, off the Kentucky Derby win. And everyone talking about journalism because of that wow performance in the Preakness and saying, did everyone forget about Sovereignty? My horse has grown up. He's gotten pretty good.
You might have noticed, especially in racing, there's a bit of a recency bias in the game, and people tend to, you know, look at the latest good thing. Yes. Well, they know now who the better horse is.
Yes, they do. Sovereignty headed to the Classic. Junior will be aboard for Hall of Famer. Bilmont is the favorite in that one. Hope you enjoyed our coverage. Don't forget tonight, Breeders' Crown, beginning this evening at 7:30 Eastern. Bravaro kicked things off on Empire Showcase Day in the Sleepy Hollow. Made of the Mist, Let Me Count the Ways is a very short price favorite. Mike Maker Barn continues to roll. Valtellina, Ray Handel, Dylan Davis took the distaff. Sterling Silver dropping out of a graded stakes race for Mott Jr., and it was Bank Frenzy in a terrific stretch duel in the Empire Classic.